My husband chose his parents over me and our baby.
Seems like he's got some priorities here.
Trigger warning for abusive relationships. I am a 27-year-old woman, and my husband, who we'll call Eric, is 25.
Eric.
We met at university, got married, and recently had a baby.
Yay!
My husband has the habit of living with his parents.
No.
Being an only child, he wants to be with them all the time. Since we moved in with them, life has become heck for me. By the way, this comes from Cappuccino124, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, they don't know the meaning of privacy and come into our room whenever they want. On many occasions, I've had to change my clothes, even putting them on backwards. I have communicated this discomfort to him, but he simply does nothing.
Yeah, because he likes the approval of his parents. He gets off on it.
I'm really concerned about this situation here. On one occasion, his father even came in when I was practically without clothes on. I had to quickly cover myself, and he left the room anyway.
Ew.
The dogs they have at home are very dirty, and the doctor prohibited us from having animals near our baby. But my husband got angrier and preferred to ignore the doctor. You need to leave. My baby has sensitive skin and is allergic to dog hair. The dogs also do their business inside the house, especially in the kitchen since they make them sleep there due to the cold.
Weird.
Last Sunday, our baby ran out of milk because I don't have enough.
He needs some milk.
So she is mixed breastfeeding. That morning, I became desperate because of her crying. Days ago, I had told Eric that there wasn't much left in the bottle, but he got upset and decided to ignore me. I don't work because I couldn't finish my degree. Ugh. I sat on the bed, crying helplessly as I couldn't buy the jar of milk myself and had to wait for him to give me the money or buy it himself.
You're being made to rely on someone?
And now, financially, you're not able to leave because, again, finances, you're in an unsafe living condition, and also your baby's in an unsafe living condition. If you have any family members or anyone that you can reach out to, please do.
And your boyfriend's not his own man.
Husband.
Oh, sorry. Husband.
It's even worse.
Ha 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 ha.
My mother-in-law entered the room without knocking and reminded that breakfast had been served. I had no appetite to eat. When I get depressed, my body doesn't accept anything. I told her that I wouldn't eat, that I would go get the milk. I told her in a low voice because I had already cried and was depressed. She left and then came back in and started yelling at me, telling me that I'm inconsiderate, that I always behave like this, and that she's not there to put up with my whims. Eric, upon seeing his mother's reaction, simply threw a suitcase at me and told me to pack my things.
Oh my gosh.
He insisted and told me that it was all my fault, that I can't even give enough milk to my baby, that this was the last time I insulted his family, and that I should hurry up and pack everything so that I would stop bothering his parents.
Ew.
I simply packed everything I could and put it in the car, and we went to my apartment. I stayed crying while he left to return his father's car. That afternoon, I cried until I was tired. When he arrived, he didn't speak to me and just slept in the living room. I insisted on talking, but he just told me that he was sick of me and that he wanted me to go back to my parents' house. You should. They live in another state. It's been 3 days, and today I tried again, but it was worse. He told me that he didn't love me, that he didn't consider me family, and that his grandmother had complained that he was kicking her out of the house. I told him that was a lie, but he said, I can't take your side because they're my family. He also told me that his parents will withdraw their support if he continues with me. He still has his thesis to finish, and his parents are paying his graduation expenses. He just looked at me and said, go with your parents and take the baby. I'm looking for a woman who wants to live in my parents' and grandparents' house. You're not wife material. Go with yours and make your life so I can make mine. I'll send you money for the baby's expenses and that's it.
Oh my gosh, what?
How did this happen?
I'm gonna be honest with you, OP. It probably doesn't seem like it right now because this is really awful and he's treating you terribly. But this is probably the best thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Because right now you're in a really terrible situation. You have no privacy. You have no support for your child. And right now he's offering to financially support you while you get to go live with your parents, with your baby. That is so much better. So much better.
This is wild. This is insane.
And also, where's he going to find this magical woman that wants to stay with his parents?
I want someone to stay with me and my parents so they could
It's-
make me popcorn and hot chocolate.
It's
Yeah.
his mommy.
He's my mommy. I
His
don't wanna leave my
mommy's
mommy.
the only woman for him.
Dude, what the heck?
I couldn't believe it. I was reduced to begging for 4 days, even though the mistake was his parents, and I was still being blamed for it. I already bought my plane ticket for me and my baby. Today, he packed his things and went to his parents' house despite everything I told him and begged him. He didn't care. And there any advice, and there is an update, but my advice is leave.
Yep.
Leave. Absolutely leave. Do not stay here.
Mm-mm.
Don't beg to stay here. Leave. Get out. Take your baby and go.
Not worth it at all.
But there is an update. Today, he came in his parents' car and took us to our baby's physical therapy session, but he took advantage of the fact that I was not at home to pick up all his things from the apartment. I'm not going to deny that not seeing his clothes or things hurt me. When he came to drop us off after physical therapy, I wanted to talk to him. I wanted him to come to his senses and see that I just wanted to keep our family together. But he just left me there crying, standing at the door, waiting for him to turn around and regret his decision. I sent him messages, and the only thing he told me is that he has already made his decision and he will not go back. At the moment, I am devastated, and I spoke to my mother to have moral support. I would appreciate your input, and there is a second update. Again, my input is leave.
Yeah, stay with your parents.
This man is terrible.
See if you can rebuild yourself. This
Yeah.
is not a great place to be, Popey.
Last week, I took a flight to get to my parents' house. He signed the travel authorization, and here I am at my parents' house. I was able to talk with my mother, and she advised me to let things go, and that one day he will regret it and come back, but a week has passed. Why would you want him to come back? I'm sorry, if I were your mother, I would not be saying, don't worry, he'll come back to you.
Let it go, girl.
He has not returned, and he barely talks to me to find out how our baby is doing. I'm desperate. It is painful for me to see that from one day to the next, my marriage, my family, was destroyed by my in-laws. It for sure was not destroyed by your in-laws. This was destroyed by your husband. From the start, I know that I must move forward, but it is difficult. It still hurts me to know that my partner, the one I chose for life, has betrayed me in that way. Even so, I decided to go ahead and look for a job and ask my father to help me finish my studies. I don't want to remain stuck in depression. Another update. You need to leave this man behind and take care of your baby.
Yep. You gotta take care of you and your own now, because he
Yeah.
doesn't consider you
No.
your own. And I mean, divorce process. Start filing for child custody if you can.
Yeah, definitely file for custody. Definitely file for divorce. Get alimony. Get child support. All of that. Update 3. I decided to make zero contact with him, and I have not heard from him for more than 2 weeks. My parents told me not to ask for pension since I have their support. He just continued with his life, as a friend told me. It still hurts me. And about the postpartum depression, I think it did affect me because it was not good for me not being able to breastfeed my baby well and the constant pressure from my in-laws. I plan to open a cafeteria with a very good friend. My baby is improving thanks to physical therapy, but now I have to return to the city where I lived with him to pick up my things and move near my parents. I don't know if he will repent one day, but I don't want to fall again and forgive him. I won't deny that I felt tempted to call him and ask him to reconsider, but there is no point in turning back. I want to heal my soul and focus on my baby and moving forward. I already found out that his mother wants to pair him with her best friend's daughter, and that felt like a betrayal. It's not easy, but I don't want to cry for him anymore. My baby's health has improved significantly since we left that house with the dirty dogs. Her skin allergies are clearing up, and she seems more comfortable. It breaks my heart that her own father chose animals over her well-being, but at least now I can protect her properly. My parents have been incredibly supportive, and seeing how they treat me with basic respect and dignity has reminded me what I deserve. My father immediately helped with the baby's needs without making me feel ashamed. My mother listens to my concerns without yelling at me. This is what family should be like.
Ugh. Ugh.
I mean, yeah, this guy, terrible husband, terrible father, good riddance.
I'm still confused. How hope he didn't see this coming, or any signs of it.
Well, I think she absolutely did see the signs. I think she was just so stuck.
Got it.
The cafeteria plan is moving forward, and I'm excited about having my own income and independence. It feels good to think about building something of my own, something that no one can take away from me based on their family's approval or disapproval. I still have moments where I miss what I thought our marriage was, but I'm beginning to understand that what I miss might have been an illusion. A man who truly loved me wouldn't have thrown a suitcase at me while I was crying over a hungry baby. A man who truly loved me wouldn't have told me I'm not wife material instead of working together to solve our problems. By the way, if you truly love us, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Kimberly Font says, piggybacking Reese's My Pieces comment. What did Reese's My Pieces say?
Dang, man.
Stockholm is real. Everyone acts like it's so easy to leave and not feel adequate after being brainwashed that you.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
brainwashed
like,
that you
OP
are.
has
Yeah.
clearly been brainwashed
And
because she's in this situation with her baby where her baby's not safe. She is not safe. And she's, like, desperate to go back.
that's so true. And Kimberly Font says, you can tell he and his family have always been awful.
Mm-hmm.
No one would learn to accept that treatment with his parents as supporting as hers appear to be. I forget that. I've been kind of in a situation, not as severe, but in a situation where I'm like, oh no, she's great. She actually does love my family. And it's like, look, reality, man. People tell you who they really are. I think Kat said that. Gotta listen.
Gotta listen. There's a little bit left, though. The hardest part is accepting that my daughter will grow up knowing her father chose his parents' house over building a family with us. But maybe that's better than growing up in a house where she would have learned that love is conditional. It's absolutely better. I'm scared about the future, but for the first time in months, I'm also cautiously optimistic. I don't know if Eric will ever regret his decision, but I'm starting to hope that by the time he does, I'll be strong enough to know that I deserve better. My baby deserves better too, and I'm going to make sure she gets it, even if it means doing it alone. And that is the end of that story, but yes, OP, you are much better off without this guy.
Oh, good riddance.
Good riddance.
With that man. He's
terrible.
just, how do you wake up as a father one day and be like, I don't want you anymore. You or
Because
family.
he's so used to his parents taking care of him, and now he has this child that he has to take care of, and he's like,
Wait, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take care of a kid.
My husband bought a new house without telling me.
That's something you gotta talk about.
My husband, 34 male, and I, 27 female, have been married for 3 years. For the first 2 years, we lived together on the East Coast in an apartment that I owned outright. Last summer, my husband got transferred to the Pacific Northwest for work. Several factors eventually led to the decision of my husband moving out west and renting a small place, and me staying back home and finishing out my contract. That contract ended in June, and I moved to join my husband. Since then, we've been living together in his studio. Recently, since I'm not working right now, I've been spending my time looking for a bigger, nicer apartment for us that is within our budget. By the way, this comes from user HouseThrow9, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I found a couple places and decided this past weekend would be a good time for my husband and I to look them over. This is when he decided to drop a bomb on me. He bought a house and wants us to move in when the lease is up. He was really excited about it, talking about how this is our place and how it's the perfect little starter home and how it'd be perfect to start a family. Reddit, I was livid. He took me out to look at it, and I'm absolutely floored at how idiotic this decision was. The house is a piece of crap. He bought what was in our price range, and that doesn't buy much out here. I grew up in a fixer-upper. Every single summer of my life from ages 12 to 20 was spent doing projects ranging from painting to building new bedrooms. When I was young, I promised myself I wouldn't own a house until I was at least 30 or 35. I hate all the responsibility and headache that comes along with it. Honestly, if I could have it my way, I would never own a house my entire life, but I know it's something my husband wants. So, whatever. And my husband knows this. He knows exactly how I feel, and as soon as he showed me the house, I let him know all of that once again, but he doesn't see why I'm so upset. He says he thought I'd be happy and says he'll do all the work. Yeah, sure. That's what everyone says until they realize how hard fixing up a house is. I want to live in a nice apartment and spend our weekends taking day trips and exploring this part of the world, not in old paint clothes ripping up Berber carpet. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I'm effing pissed about this situation and pissed at my husband for doing this without consulting me. Should I just suck it up and be grateful? Part of me realizes he thought it was a sweet gesture, but the other part of me is really dreading that the entirety of my foreseeable future will be spent with renovations. Does it have to be that bad? Am I being witchy for being this upset over it? Plus, he bought the house already. How can I even get out of it? How do I even look at my husband without seeing an idiot who just ruined the next 5+ years of our lives? And we have some comments. So comment number 1 says, tell him you just adopted twin 5-year-olds from Nairobi. They're arriving next week, and you just know he'll be thrilled. That's not the same thing.
That's a little different.
OP says, thanks for the laugh, but knowing him, he'd probably be thrilled. He's very much the family man, while I'm the one who wants to wait a while before all that. He says he's fine going with my timeline, but he also says he was fine going with my timeline in regards to a house, too. Reply, he's fine going with your timeline because he can pull stunts like this and force you into huge lifestyle changes that you don't want. Important, your husband fully believes that it's easier to ask forgiveness than to ask permission from you, thereby using sneaky tactics to undermine your needs. Is he in any way, though? Like, tell me if I'm out of line here. Is this guy in any way preventing her from just owning a studio and living in that?
I mean, no.
Right? They were just apart. She was just on the East Coast and he was on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So it's not like them not living in the exact same location at all times is a
That's
deal
true.
breaker. Comment number 2 says, I don't think you're overreacting in the slightest. To be honest, even if I loved the house, I'd be completely livid if my husband did that. It's not buying a new video game console for a few $100s or even booking a special trip for a few thousand. This is a huge purchase that absolutely should not be done by one person without the other person's permission. I personally don't think you should suck it up and be grateful. This is a huge trust transgression and he should know that. However, he got you in this mess, so now you need a plan of action to get out of it. And arguing about it endlessly will not help that. Could you put aside your feelings on renovations and even spend a few months on them to try to recoup your buying costs? If you're not working and sounds like you have the skills to do this, maybe tearing up some old carpet might be cathartic. Whatever you decide to do, you and your husband need to sit down and clearly lay out what you would like for your future, what you can handle compromising on, and what you can afford. What type of lifestyles do you want together? It sounds like these things aren't aligned, and after you've discussed this and come up with a plan, let's set a limit on spending. What is the largest purchase one can make without discussing it with the other person? Houses are included in this. If you have the resources to do so, a marriage counselor would be a great asset as well. Good luck. OP replies, my husband has been very clear on the fact that he doesn't want to sell the house. He's very excited about owning his first real property and renovating this house to be exactly the way he wants it. He says since I don't want to do it, that he'll do it all for himself and I won't have to lift a finger. My husband grew up in a freshly built suburban home. His idea of renovating is repainting a room. All I have is visions of him trying to remove the wainscoting, gouging a hole in the wall, and then him coming to me for help once he realizes he's out of his depth. I made an offhand comment about how we don't even own a set of tools, and he said he would just go pick some up. I don't think he even knows how expensive tools are. So I really, really don't want to renovate this crap. But at this point, I have kind of accepted the fact that I'll have to do some, even if he agrees to sell the house. Because no way will any sane person buy this crap pile for anything close to what he paid. You are undervaluing the real estate of the Pacific Northwest. I'm just putting it out. That's like my favorite place on earth. If I could own a home, I don't care if it's this home or whatever home. If I could afford a home in the Pacific Northwest, I'd buy it.
The Pacific Northwest would be like, is it above California or is it like Bay Area?
It's like northern California, Oregon, and Washington. Highly valuable property. The problem is that this guy doesn't know how to do renovations. From the sounds of it, that's pretty bad. But you can subcontract that.
He's so excited.
Right. If you guys can afford this and you can make it into a house without either of you having to do anything, and like I can't see this as being bad just purely from a perspective of I can't even I've put the thought of owning a home out of my head for years and years and years.
Okay, well, you know why you forgot about one loophole that exists. It's a 24-hour channel, and it's called HGTV, and they're always giving out homes. You just need to get in contact with them. They'll give you a home. They'll let you flip a home. You can flip it with them.
I don't know if giving out homes is the word I would use.
Is a good thing, though. That's a good idea. If you take this,
yeah,
I guarantee you a dozen reality show producers would be chomping at the bit to be able to shoot this story of husband buys home without wife's permission. Wife is mad. It needs a bunch of renovations.
Yeah.
Someone's going, ooh, a bunch of people would watch that.
If he tries it himself, there's actually a reality show. I think it's the lady with the red head. No, different one. But there's literally a reality show based on, like, we tried to renovate it ourselves and it didn't work because we don't know how to renovate houses. And they come in and they fix it. There's literally, that's all they do is that.
You might actually, I feel like I would never give that advice.
Yeah.
But like, maybe try to shop this to a reality show.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And unironically, that might work out for everyone's best interest.
Yeah.
As for the future purchases discussion, that is a very good idea. Thank you. And there is an update. I have what I consider to be a pretty happy update. But considering how many people were calling for me to divorce my husband in the last post, maybe you guys won't feel the same. We sat down and had a long talk last night and again this morning. Told my husband in no uncertain terms that this has been a huge breach of trust, and I was in no way happy with the fact that he bought this house. I had called my parents before and figured out how much it cost them to renovate a lot of the rooms in their house, as well as how long they estimated that it took. I showed him those numbers, and I could tell that made it really sink in just how much work he had signed himself up for. All of this finally sobered him up, and he apologized for doing it. He said he understands why I didn't want it, and he understood that I wanted no part in the renovations, but he still loves this house and thinks he can renovate it to the point that I will love it too. And to be fair to him, the house does have nice bones. It's in a good area, and the idea of being able to hand pick everything and change a few things around to exactly what we want does appeal to me a little bit. So I agreed to keep the house. With that decision, though, comes the condition that he will be doing all the renovations by himself. It will come from his pocket. He will do all the work, deal with hiring any contractors needed, everything. We agreed on a few major things that need to be done by the end of this year to make the house livable without it being a total construction zone. The only involvement I will have in the renovations will be the input on paint colors, flooring, and fixtures. If he has the major projects we agreed on done by the end of the year, we will move in, and I have agreed that I will help a little, but the house will not take up all of our free time. As soon as it does, I'm done. By the way, you'll never be done listening to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to stories, because we are never done adding to them. We are at, 68 now? 68 consecutive days worth of stories. Go listen to them. It's kind of a good place where it's like, if it's real and he sticks to his word, it could work out.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I would never be mad at my husband or wife for buying a house in the Pacific Northwest, no matter how beat up it was. I'd be like, oh, we get to spend the rest of our lives here fixing this house. Couldn't be happier. In the meantime, we will be keeping the apartment. That's where we'll be living for the rest of this year. Good. We agreed on a maximum amount that either of us can spend without consulting the other person. He has agreed to go to marital counseling with me so that we can figure out a better way to communicate so that this never happens again. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm still kind of pissed at him and won't be lovey-dovey for quite a while, but I can be in the same room as him without wanting to snap his head off. He's still my husband, and I still love him. Hopefully in 20 years, this will just be something that makes me roll my eyes when I remember it. I'm not looking forward to the coming months of renovations, but I'm glad that I don't have to be a part of it. He can spend his weekends ripping up carpet and insulating walls. I'll be in the San Juan Islands whale watching and getting tipsy on vineyard tours. Thanks to everyone for your help, and that is the end of that.
That sounds great. Tipsy on wine and vineyard tours. Sounds like
Without
fun.
your husband who's working on your home. And then when you tell people that, they'll go, oh my God, that's so sweet.
God.
He's building your dream house.
Oh my God.
And he's just like, and you can just go out on the weekends.
So wonderful.
What a nice husband you have.
My husband hid photos of another woman, and now I'm questioning our entire marriage.
I would too.
I already have someone booked for us to see, and for context, this is my second marriage. My current husband, 33 male, and I, 38 female, have been together for 2 years. I have 2 kids from my previous marriage and a baby with my current husband. By the way, this comes from present pictures, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in the situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says, husband has 2 phones, one personal and one for work.
I bet that's for work.
He was charging his work phone on my nightstand and left the house to run a few errands. Temptation got the best of me, and I decided to go through his photos. With no initial suspicion, just out of nowhere, you're gonna snoop.
Yeah, I do that all the time with you.
Okay.
I make sure that your fabrics are good and you're not making any other fabrics I should be, worried about.
Okay.
Making sure they're all girly and all pink. If I see any navy or brown, I'm going to be asking questions. I know where your file cabinet is. I know where you keep all that fabric.
I have a project coming up that is going to be using a lot of dark colors, okay? So
see how she communicated that to me and I didn't have to figure that out by myself?
Yeah, see how I had to communicate that after he yelled at me?
I was just saying things a little bit, on the upper side.
On the upper
of
side
volume.
Of your... Sure. This is not the first time. The last time I did this was about a year ago. I'm not proud of this, but to my defense, husband has a history of some sketchiness, and each time I've looked over his phone, I've found something incriminating or that crosses my boundary.
Oh,
so why are we married to him? For example, once we got into a big fight and he went and parked his car somewhere at night, knowing that I could track the car.
He then ordered an Uber to a massage parlor at 9:30 p.m. at night, which I found out because his work phone at home was connected to Uber.
Dude,
Oh,
we know why he went there.
yeah. Massage parlors are not open past 9:30 for innocent reasons.
Okay, you did go to a massage parlor recently past 9:30.
What time was our
It was like 8:40 to 9:30. We went together.
we were going to be done around like past 9:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing suspicious happened there. We are
Yeah,
both
nothing.
witnesses to each other. He claims that he just went to get a regular massage and that he just didn't want me to know. Sure thing.
Was it a nice, hole in the wall massage place?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Dude, Sam has a hilarious story while he was in Bali.
Mhm.
He went to a hole in the wall massage parlor, thinking like, oh, it's a hole in the wall restaurant. Maybe
It's
it
like-
has the same kind of vibe.
It's like, low key and like, oh, it'll have that kind of real, like, cultural experience or
Yeah, exactly.
different experience.
You would think.
You would think. That's
Yeah.
that's what he thought. On his bachelor party, he also tried to meet up with a girl that he met while he was there.
Bro,
He invited her to meet his group of friends at a nightclub and was sending photos of her in a swimsuit to all of the guys in the group chat. So bachelor parties usually happen before the wedding, right?
yeah.
So we continue to marry this guy. Not at all saying that it's your fault, just
Wait,
saying that he's
hold on.
not worth it. He also went to a spicy club while I was visiting a friend overnight, knowing that I don't tolerate that. Okay, so here's where we had suspicion.
I'm on 4. I've counted 4.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is just like a few examples.
Oh
I'm
my
I'm
gosh.
sure there's more, but these are the most notable ones. I guess a part of me wanted to check in and see whether he was behaving better now that he is a new father to our 4-month-old baby.
Yay, that fixes everything. Kids.
Oh, what I found this time made my stomach drop.
Oh no.
There was a hidden folder in his photo albums full of screenshots and clips of women from social media. Some were in swimsuits or doing workouts, and it made me really uncomfortable seeing how focused those photos and videos were. There was even a video of someone we actually know, a mom, at the pool. My goodness. Some of the photos were of his friends' wives, an old coworker, even a close friend of mine.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that makes it crazy. If it was just random like influencers, I feel like that's already a problem.
But it's the level of separation is closer.
Yeah, there's less separation.
It's like these people. You could
Yeah.
probably call these people.
Yeah.
That makes it
You
even-
could, their
ugh.
names, their children.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And you know
Oh.
what they look like in a bathing suit. Crazy. The one that hit me the hardest was a mom friend from the sports team he coaches, dressed up for an event, and the photo was clearly taken to highlight her appearance. The dates on the screenshots went back to last year, with some as recent as just 3 days ago.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I'm burning the phone.
Last year, dude.
Also, what does he do for work that he needs a other phone?
Good question. How many phones do we have here in this workplace? That's not true.
Oh, in our workplace?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
What workplace
We
were you
lost
talking
one.
about?
John has one. 1, 2, 3. We have about 8 or
Maybe-
13.
Maybe he has a rivalry Reddit YouTube channel.
No, he doesn't. That phone would not be with him all the time. That phone would be connected to a computer doing its own thing.
It would be
Wrong.
busy.
I know how this works.
I felt sick to my stomach and ran to the bathroom.
Oh,
After
no.
that, I took photos with my phone of everything that I saw. When he got home, I calmly approached him and put my phone in front of him, showing him the photos that I had taken of his phone. I asked if he could explain it, and he stuttered and laughed for about 30 seconds until all he could muster was, "Okay, what about it?" What about my fist in your face, dude?
Whoa.
What about that? Huh?
Dude,
Huh?
that he laughed.
It was I'm guessing it was nervous laughter, but maybe it wasn't. If it wasn't-
man.
I would be very angry. I was usually a very emotional person, but in this case, I was able to remain calm, and I think it's because of how much ick I was feeling. I confronted him and asked why he had all of that saved. I pulled my phone back before he could grab it. He admitted that he took the screenshots, but said he didn't know why.
Wait.
Dumb response.
You took the screenshots, hid them in a hidden folder.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Dude, I don't know. I just woke up and they were there.
Same response a middle schooler has when he punches his friend. It's like,
Yeah.
why'd you punch your friend?
I don't know. I literally was thinking about it the other day where like I like cut myself with a razor when I was like 8 or something because I just saw it was like my big sister's like razor.
Oh, like shaving their legs.
Yeah,
and
and
stuff.
so like I like cut my ankle though because I had never shaved my legs, didn't know what to do with it. I was just curious, and then I was crying and screamed for my mom, and she was like, "What happened? What did you do?" And I was like, "I don't know," but it's because I thought I was gonna get in trouble.
Oh, I see.
You know
But
what I mean?
You did know.
So-
You were trying to be like your sisters.
Yeah, exactly. But so kids know if someone tells you they don't know why they did something, it's because they think they're gonna get in
You
trouble.
just can't put it into words.
Yeah. He claimed it was just something he did without thinking whenever he saw something that caught his eye. You're really digging yourself a hole, my guy. He kept saying it wasn't personal and that it didn't mean anything and that he never did anything inappropriate with the photos. I don't believe that for 1 second.
He never did anything inappropriate with the photos. That came unprompted. That's where I'm gonna be like
Yeah.
diving in deeper.
Yeah, especially even if it didn't come unprompted, like even if she suggested something and he's just like, no, it's like, dude, it's okay. First of all, I feel like that could go another way. That's still just as wrong in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you have all these pictures of half naked women that we know and you're saying it doesn't mean anything, now you're degrading these women. You know what I mean? Now it's another issue. Because now you don't care about these
Now
women
you
that
don't
you're
appreciate their
objectifying.
beauty.
Yeah, in a way.
I think we should focus on the other issue than this one.
Just focus on the truth, my guy.
It's sort
focus
of
on the
like
truth.
the like hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
The one below appreciating women's beauty is a guy not being a creep. So I think that's what we need to fix
We
here.
need to, bottom line, let's
Yeah.
do that.
I love how high you thought he was on that triangle.
I didn't think either way he appreciated the women.
I know, but like,
If, like, you hear about people hooking up or something like that.
ew.
Okay, well, if you think about that kind of relationship, what that is, like, yeah, it might be some sort of scandalous, like, mistress situation that's still, like, scummy. But if you're doing that, cheating on your wife with another woman, for example, this isn't the exact situation here, but not only that, but you also, like, don't give a crap about the woman that you were hooking up with, that's messed up.
Yeah, I got
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say with, like, these pictures.
Got
you know
it,
what I
got
mean?
it, got it, got it.
Instead of losing my temper, I told him how embarrassed and ashamed I felt. I said his behavior was completely inappropriate and made me uncomfortable. I told him to delete everything, unfollow anyone he had saved content from, and even find a new hairdresser since she was in there too. Oh my god. He agreed, but only if I deleted the proof from my phone. Absolutely not. Absolutely
Nope.
not.
Yeah, I'll delete it, but I'm sending it to
Yeah.
another phone.
I'm just gonna like print it out really fast.
There we go.
There we
we
go.
go.
Of course, he tried to spin this as another instance of me invading his privacy, but I made sure not to allow him to pull focus from the topic at hand. Eventually, he did apologize, and he did so multiple times over the course of 24 hours. He said there were no excuses for what was on his phone and that it was gross and creepy behavior, and that he also apologized for how it makes me feel. I appreciate that he owned up, but I still have the ick.
Can't get rid of that.
You really can't. I know that nothing I did caused his behavior. I've given everything to my husband, emotionally and physically. Always ready for spicy sleep whenever, wherever.
All right, TMI.
I've been supportive of his career and hobby. I carried his baby. I take good care of myself. I'm smart and I have a great job. Even with that assurance, there's still that voice in the back of my head that keeps saying, nothing you can do is enough. You are not enough. And I hate that my husband, the one who is supposed to protect me and my heart, and with whom I should be able to be most vulnerable, is the reason for those thoughts. Right now, it's business as usual. I've pulled back affection and sweetness while remaining polite and cooperative so that we can tackle our priorities. We were about to pull down an offer on a house, but I told him I'm pulling out until I can process my feelings.
Smart. That's smart.
That is
That's really smart.
He's been in the doghouse for the past few days and is getting to the point where I can tell he is trying to get a rise out of me to get me emotional or engage me. but I refuse to let it rile me up. He also keeps telling me that I need to stop allowing a dark cloud to hang over our household and relationship, but I keep reminding him that I'm allowed to feel how I feel and still need time to process everything. I am fully aware of the trust issues I have, and I also believe that they are well-founded. I've forgiven him for the broken boundaries in the past and believed the best moving forward because in most other ways, he is a fantastic partner and teammate and extremely hardworking.
Dang. He's just, you know how people have like addictions and everything?
Mm-hmm.
This is probably his addiction.
Could be.
It's like the lust that he has to fight.
Addicted to be a scummy guy. I know it can be a real addiction, but
That's probably the very underlying thing because it seems like he's a good guy outside of this.
apparently.
If you took all this weird stuff out, solid dude. And like
You
OP
say
seems
so.
like she still wants to like put in effort, even though he's given her so many reasons to leave.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because also she was married before. She's divorced. Does she want to divorce again?
I think she should.
Bro does not want to change.
Not at all. You stop putting a rain cloud, a dark cloud over our household and relationship.
Huh? I wonder
like-
how this got here.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm sorry. I can't change the weather.
Yeah, weather boy. Huh? How about you change it? Make it all
Yeah.
sunshine.
I guess I want input on where to go from here because the idea of another divorce sounds terrible. I don't think I could do that to my kids again, nor do I want to create that future for our baby. Is it crazy to contemplate the idea of staying together for convenience or just for the kids, even if love and attraction is lost? And there are some comments.
I knew she probably didn't want a divorce again. That's fun.
Yeah. I have my thoughts, but I'm going to see if these comments say it
Did
before
they
I
cover it?
can. Yeah, let's see. Comment number 1 says, he's been doing this for years and you still married and had a baby with him? Why? Comment number 2 says, yes, it is crazy to put your kids in a home where there is resentment and boundary crossing lying behavior for your convenience. Too late. You already did it to your kids by not walking away the first, second, third, fourth time he was inappropriate and didn't care about your feelings. Do not fall for sunk cost fallacy. Set aside your shame, your guilt, your worry, and focus on your kids. Once you have stabilized their lives and freed them from being trapped in your miserable situation, then you can figure out why you made those choices and work through your stuff so you don't move them into a-hole number 3's home moving forward. Okay, yeah, like if she got with a third
Another
a-hole,
guy, yeah.
And we do have an update, but yeah, I agree with those comments. I think definitely don't do
Ooh.
it for the kids.
Sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
That one always hits hard.
Yeah, really?
Well, if you're like, spent like 3 years in this relationship, everything's going good. I don't want to give that up.
Yeah,
even
that's
though
not
you're
a good way to
completely
think about it.
miserable.
Yeah, it's like 3 years versus forever. If you can barely do 3 years, I doubt you could do like 60, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I think there's such an idea about like saving the kids from this. And it's like, sure, you don't want your kids to experience bad things, but guess what? Bad things happen.
Yeah.
And they have to. And someday they're going to be an adult and have
Yeah.
to deal with the same exact problem if you stay with him.
So make them warriors of life now.
Honestly, I mean,
Go through that divorce.
that's what you gotta do.
Put them in the jungle.
Because listen, like if it was a grief kind of situation of like, oh, your father passed away somehow, it's like you can't just pretend that your kid's dad is alive until
Yeah.
they're an adult and then break the news. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that same kind of thing.
That's a good point.
They're gonna be adults and have to deal with this in an adult way eventually. So there's no use in like saving them now or
I
something.
agree. Traumatize them a little bit. That gives them something to worry about when they get older.
It's just how life is.
Yeah.
You just gotta deal with it.
Think of a kid that wasn't traumatized. How boring are they?
I guess so.
They're not funny. They have
Yeah.
no characteristics.
They're too good. They're too
Yeah.
like perfect.
Now think of yourself. Think about the trauma you have and how funny you are.
Give yourself a pat on the back, dude.
Come on, you're doing great. You're doing great.
We do have an update. For everyone who took time to respond and comment constructively, thank you. I appreciate the multiple perspectives as well as the support. And for those who chose to comment with justifications of his actions because he is a male, thank you as well. Reading them out loud was so laughable that it actually strengthened and helped me validate my own feelings on the subject at hand.
All right.
Nice. It's been a roller coaster. I've been working hard to maintain my composure and keep the focus on my hurt as a direct result of a crossed boundary and broken trust. I've necessarily been distanced and cold while going about the day today. My husband came to me wanting to discuss and talk through things again, so I gave him the floor.
Okay, so he's come to you. Okay.
Okay. He apologized, but
Okay.
each time he would apologize, he would throw out a defensive statement or something to make sense of his action. Each time, I would stop him and tell him that he just negated his apology by doing so. After a few hours of tense discussion, I blurted out how bleak and depressing our situation was and gave him an ultimatum.
Oh boy.
Either enroll in couples counseling with me, as well as a separate therapist for his regular use issues. He has dealt with other behaviors in the past.
Oh.
Interesting. Interesting.
I see a pattern.
Or he can move out by the end of the month. He actually agreed. By the way, I hope you agree to listen to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. Or else.
To find you.
That's the ultimatum. You don't get to know like what else is until it happens. Anyway, we have more to this story.
Dude, I'm calling it.
Yep.
Good 2 weeks.
Sure.
And you're right back to where we were.
Right back to where we were.
Taking pictures of Mrs. Wheeler, going to the
Yep.
grocery store.
Yep. Anyway, there's more to this story. He apologized again, finally, without trying to deflect or defend, and said that he wanted to do whatever it takes to make things right.
We've heard it.
In the meantime, I'm also hoping to find a therapist that can help me with grounding techniques and emotional management so that I know I'm doing all I can to create a safe environment for everyone in our home.
Oh my gosh, healing.
I know that this isn't over, and the work starts now. There is a lot of rebuilding that needs to happen, and I hope with all my heart that we get to see the reward as a result of the effort we put in.
Yay!
I am putting a lot of faith in that therapist that you're about to get to guide you to the light.
Dude, Angie would have so much rage that she'd give up on a therapist and probably like buy a baseball bat.
Psh, what? Riley, you can't say that. We're literally on camera right now. We're being recorded. You can't say that about me.
Oh no.
You can't expose me like that.
I know who you are. She puts up a facade every time she gets on this mic.
What?
This is not who you are.
What are you talking
All
about?
this good advice? Nah, you do the opposite.
Psh, what are you talking about?
I'm just exposing you for who you really are.
No. No.
You wouldn't go to a therapist and work on yourself.
I've been with my therapist for probably 3 years now.
Nah, actually, she is like, she has inspired me to look into therapy. 'Cause
Yeah,
of, like how well
it's
she's.
great.
I'm very proud of you on that, by the way.
Oh, thanks, girl. Sorry.
Slay.
But that's the end of that story. I really do hope, OP, that you can like get let out. It's so easy for people to get stuck in that like, oh, well, if we fix this,
Yeah.
if we make it past this, then we're going to be stronger.
But like,
But that's the thing is that you're not.
you're talking to a wall. He doesn't want it.
Yeah.
I'm giving this guy like a 1
Yeah.
out of 10 of wanting to make a change.
I think you really need that ick that you felt. Like you really need to pay attention to that. Really zero in on that feeling.
If you wanted this man to, I don't know, like change, you would have to burn every massage parlor that exists, get rid of any spicy related photos, any way to even capture spicy related photos, and then he'll maybe think about it.
And he'll have to do that on his own volition though, too. Like
Burn the massage parlor?
well, okay, not that, but not
I'm saying
arson.
you have to get rid of
But I mean
all
like
those
the
spices.
pictures and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you catch someone cheating or whatever this was, whatever you can call it, like if you catch someone like that, you can't just be like, okay, here's the rules from now on. Like you have to delete these pictures, unfollow. Like I know she said that, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do anything. Like if he was offering that, then maybe. But like that's just the biggest thing that I feel is like at the bottom line, you can't go into the controlling version of that. Like if you get cheated on or something, yeah, that freaking sucks and that person's terrible for doing that. But like you can't then respond in the wrong way and then start being controlling. You have to let them cheat. But that's the end of that story. We've got another one coming right up. I demanded an apology from my husband after 18 years of him blaming me.
It's your turn.
For some context, I, 44 female, and my husband, 45 male, have been together for 18 years. Together for 9, married for 9. I moved from Houston and we met in 2007 and decided we'd get a place together in 2008. We stayed in San Antonio and grew a life there, but he always wanted to live somewhere else. By the way, this comes from that H-Town lady on the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So we tried multiple times to get a place in Houston, but every time we went there, something would happen or fall through. From going to an apartment and them giving us a different price, to me catching the flu from walking in the rain to get to an apartment, and then us getting turned down. Just one after another, man. After our last attempt to move there, we decided to cut our losses, but even before, that is when the blaming began. For 18 years, I've had to hear him from time to time and blame me for wanting to stay in San Antonio. You wanted to stay here, you wanted to be here, blah, blah.
Dude, if you don't want to be here, no one's keeping you.
Yeah, like, we had to make this decision together
You
at some point.
can leave.
Doesn't matter whose idea it was first. Now, on my end, I left Houston to change my scene, and because it was starting to get quite expensive there. That's why I moved, and he knew this, but still wanted to live there. Now comes 2025, and we finally made enough money to move, and he wanted to move closer to my family in Iowa, or to family in Iowa. So I agreed to the move because I've never stayed outside of Texas, so this move would be great for us. Right?
You would think.
We make the arrangements, set up everything we need to move, and roll out to Iowa. When we get here, we move into our apartment, which is great, but after a few days of staying here, he starts to get frustrated because he's trying to find a job, but it's coming up kind of short. He automatically starts saying that we should have stayed in San Antonio because of this, and that more than once. I came out and told him that now that the grass isn't as green as he thought it was on the other side, he should apologize for blaming me all those years for not moving.
I'm sorry. They get to Texas and he goes, "Oh,
Yeah.
we should have stayed in San Antonio."
Yeah.
And she goes, "I'm sorry. What?"
Yeah. Well,
That
I
would
think
piss me off.
Yeah, honestly. He went off on me, still pointing the finger of blame, and I still didn't get an apology. After that, I got quiet and pissed off, and he knew it. He tried to ask me questions about what's going on with our daughter as far as important stuff, and I answered in my angry tone, and he knew he effed up. Now I'm sitting here typing this out, still fuming, while he's walking around trying to figure out where my head is at.
I
Riley-
answered in my angry tone.
Yeah, Riley, what do you think her angry tone is?
My angry tone or yours?
What do you think
Her.
OP's is?
Oh, OP's probably like 5'3".
Yeah.
What does that have to do with
No,
It
yeah.
helps with the deeper the voice.
No, I know.
The taller you are, the deeper your voice goes
Okay.
in your torso. So she's
Okay.
probably like, "You keep right here, right now." It's probably something like that.
And he hears,
Sure.
and he goes, "She
It's like-
means business."
So I can't hear what she's saying.
Because elephants get scared of mice, you know?
Yeah.
Sure. Am I overreacting here, or is my frustration justified? And there are some comments, but what do you think, Sophia?
Absolutely justified.
Yeah.
Are there good parts of your marriage? That's what I want to know.
Great question.
That's what I want to know. We only know
Yeah.
about he always blames you for things, and that's not
Yes.
great.
That's not good, man.
We don't like that.
Especially when it's like, obviously you're not to blame for either of them.
Mhm.
You are both making these decisions together.
Yeah.
He is well aware of the reasons why you're making these decisions.
Yeah.
It's not like OP is just like,
I'm
just
doing
like pulling
this.
his ear over to the
Uh-huh.
different states. Like, you are making these decisions together. And then when it doesn't work out, he just doesn't have the emotional maturity to soothe his own emotions. So he's just pointing fingers to everyone around him.
Literally, this man never learned how to
Ugh.
self-soothe.
But there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, all I'm hearing from here is my husband feels the need to blame someone for the constant anger he has with himself, that he didn't make more effort to move, and now he's not happy with his choice and he's trying to blame me too. On a serious note, it's been 18 years, and over that time, one of two things should have happened. Either you both should have made more of an effort to move, or he should have just let it go, because honestly, it's a questionable hill to pass away on. That said, I don't like that he's pointing finger just at you. It's not like you orchestrated all of those rejections the first time around.
Truly.
And I definitely don't see how it's your fault that you guys should have stayed in San Antonio. It feels like he's enjoying the sense of control he has over you by constantly blaming you. And let's face it, he has that control. You've let him blame you for 18 years. If it was
Nailed it.
me, I would have told him to get over it after max a couple of weeks, and I would have expected an apology then. It's not your fault. Also, you deserve better than a grudge-holding gremlin. Comment number 2 says, if the moving or not moving and him blaming you for it is the only frustration between you two, use this moment to force him to talk things through like adults and do not let go before this is resolved. If you guys can't figure it out between the two of you and a bottle of wine and some G's, find a form of meditation like couples counseling.
Yeah, if you can't figure it out over a bottle of wine and cheese,
Yeah.
it's not going to be figured out.
Right. Because if you don't shut this down now, once and for all, this being your life from now on or divorce are your only options. Since he finally realized he screwed up, tell him you're done with the useless, crappy communication with blame. He stops now. He starts telling you what his issues are and starts taking accountability and realizes stuff sometimes works out a certain way. You are not a freaking fairy godmother. Random things happening are not your responsibility, nor are they your fault. You're done being his emotional one-doing bag for the random shizzle. Don't get too hung up on that apology until you've actually talked like adults. Because if he apologizes now, it's going to be the excuse to rug sweep, and you'll be back here with a nothing's changed or things escalated update before the week is out. Not the a-hole. And there is an update.
Those comments.
Yeah. I mean, they're not wrong.
No, they're not wrong. I think you have to have a actual conversation with your husband of 9 years, relationship of 18. You guys have been in a relationship for ages. If this is the only thing, then have a conversation about it and sit him down and say, hey, I really don't appreciate how much you're blaming me for things that are outside of my control.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you need to find a way to emotionally regulate and not put things that you're unhappy with on me.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not my fault.
And if he just apologizes, like that one comment said, like, don't put too much emphasis on that because you have to actually see the actions improve after that.
Agreed.
But there is an update. So I thought that this frustration of mine would drag on, but it came to a head yesterday. But first, let me put a few things straight to some people. My husband loves me very much, and he will do anything to make sure I'm happy. And he knows that if he pokes me the wrong way, I will poke back with a vengeance, which is why I have an update. Second, to the person that said that we're too old to make a foolish choice to move out without jobs, I take it that you forgot what the title of this post says. This post is about a matter between me and my husband, but if you want to be nosy, I do have a job. I got mine transferred out of state because I work from home, and my husband did have one lined up, but it fell through, taking him back to square one, hence him getting frustrated. Our finances are tight, but we're not drowning, so unless you're going to volunteer as tribute to help with our finances, which of course will be a hard no, then stick to the title of what's being discussed, okay?
Okay. All right.
Now on to the update. After I read all of the posts, I had to admit that the gaslighting was there in plain sight. But after our discussion, I went silent. Coldly silent, and I start to clean, which is a habit when I get pissed off. And if anyone knows me, my cold silence is more than enough to leave you with frostbite if I talk to you on the regular. When he saw and felt this, he knew he effed up.
Dude.
Now, for a bit of background context, I'm not an argumentative person. I will speak my facts of peace. If I see that what I'm saying is not getting through to you, then I will shut it down. I'll let you think you won and say nothing else to you afterwards. I don't have the time or temperament because I know how bad my anger can get, and I'm not trying to go to jail. The day comes around and something happens, and he starts acting extra appreciative. Now, when it comes to my husband, he will apologize, but in the form of doing things for me. Me saying, is this your way of apologizing? And he'll say in a sad voice, yeah, that's my bad. Which is fine with me. I'm not too proud.
That's so funny.
That is really funny.
Is this your way of apologizing? Yeah.
But what he did that led up to the my bad to get back on my good side was an eyebrow raiser. I told him that my legs hurt, and he laid me down and massaged them as well as my lower back.
It seems like you guys have a good marriage other than this one communication issue.
I mean, are you basing that just off of the massage that she
Yeah.
just like, I guess.
Yeah.
He watched over our daughter, so they do have kids, while I was working as far as feeding her and sending her to the potty, which he does sometimes anyway. And instead of giving me flowers, he gave me tacos, which he knows I love, and he washed the car.
See, that's what I like to see. I love flowers, but I also like when a person knows their partner.
Yeah,
Like, I could get you flowers, or I could feed you, and then you're
Yeah.
not hangry.
which honestly is maybe even
Double
better for
win.
this situation.
I agree.
Yeah. You get a nice, thoughtful gift and you get fed. Yeah, that sounds nice. But there is a little bit more. We did talk a bit about what he did, and we came together to straighten out the issue, so no more blaming. I felt that he really meant it. We're a couple that has only fought 3, now 4 times in the 18 years we've been together, so leaving him is not an option. We both know that with all marriages, there will be ups, downs, and issues that will test any marriage, And as long as we know we can work them out together, no one but God can separate us. Oh, and one final note. I know that Midwest winter hits harder than Southern winter, and when I get to that bridge of frost, I will deal with it. Now, does anyone know where I can buy a really good coat in Iowa? Love y'all. Bye. My friend's husband cheated on her, so I'm exposing him.
Expose him to everyone.
My husband and I visited our friends out of state this weekend. On Friday, my husband Chase and his best friend Logan went out for drinks while Logan's wife Lydia chatted and caught up. They left around 1 a.m., and my friend and I hung out at the house talking until around 4 a.m. when we decided to retire for the night. At that time, I texted Chase, "Y'all still good?" to make sure that they were okay and not driving wasted. He replied, "Yeah, on our way back." By the way, this comes from nearby district 9260, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And OP says, to make a long conversation short, I had to pry information from my husband to admit that he and Logan went to the bar they told us they'd be at. Then they Ubered to a spicy club and got lap dances there, spending over $220 combined. Chase was definitely trying to protect Logan by dodging my questions, but I essentially told him that I'm not playing games and to fess up now. In my relationship, that was clearly cheating, and Chase acknowledged that as well. We are going to separate for a week or more and make decisions from there regarding our relationship status, residence status, etc. Reconciliation is a goal, but not a guarantee. There have been other behaviors throughout our relationship that have violated my trust, and after a certain point, I'm not going to stay in a situation where I feel disrespected and taken for granted. Divorce is very unlikely due to this situation, but it will take work to get through this. I told Chase that Logan needed to confess to Lydia, or else I would, because he's her husband and should have the chance to explain his point of view. She's my dear friend who shares a 3-year-old daughter with Logan. During a car ride with all 4 of us later in the day, Lydia asked more about the second bar Logan claimed they went to, which was a lie, and hearing him lie further to his wife about their antics made me sick. The entire day passed, and it appeared that she still didn't know the truth. Lydia confided in me that she and Logan have been struggling in their marriage due to Logan's unresolved resentment towards her over her weight gain and financial decisions made during the vid. She said he is constantly frustrated with and by her, and she genuinely believes Logan not only isn't in love with her, but dislikes her altogether. She loves him and wants to resolve things and move on, but he is projecting his insecurities and frustration onto her constantly, which is contributing to her already existing depression and anxiety conditions. I've been very adamant in my conversation with Chase that he needs to push for Logan to confess to Lydia, and I've been clear about my stance. I believe it's my duty as Lydia's friend to tell her about something as serious as this, but only second to Logan's duty as her literal husband and the father of their child. Given all of this, am I wrong if I tell Lydia about Logan's infidelity tomorrow if he hasn't told her? And many of you asked if Lydia considers it cheating. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to frame it as he cheated if I tell her. I will explain the situation and let her deal with it in her marriage. I will not tolerate lies, especially since Christian faith is adopted by all parties. My headline was from my perspective, because my husband cheated, but I recognize that their boundary may be different. Some of you are neglecting the lying part too, which is wrong in any relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter whether or not she thinks of that as cheating. He lied, and we know that he lied because she doesn't know, where they were.
Right, and that is, the lying isn't a problem in itself, and the reason why he's lying is obviously because he knows that she won't like it.
She won't like it.
So
tell her.
Yeah.
You don't know him anything.
Exactly. Think about it. If Logan and Chase didn't do anything wrong, what's the point in lying about it? And to respond to other comments of, is corn cheating? Maybe not in most relationships, but my husband has been a corn regular user for well over a decade, so consuming this content is very bad for him. He made the decision to quit corn since it was taking control of his life and affecting our life together, but I never forced or pushed anything. Everything was his idea. However, corn is not the same as physical contact like a lap dance. I'm sure many men wouldn't be okay if their wife went to a nightclub behind their back. And regarding their financial situation, she had to quit her job, which Logan knew about, but she did it sooner than expected. She got pregnant and was worried about her baby. She used her inheritance from her grandma for bills and only bills. She also has had many medical surprises and surgeries. She hasn't just bought purses and clothes and cars, just bills. And there is an update.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, I think
you gotta tell her. I think you tell him that you're gonna tell her.
yeah, and if this was her financial situation when apparently he was unhappy with her financial
Yeah.
choices during the vid, like this stuff seems pretty reasonable for
Yeah,
her
for the
situation.
vid also too.
Yeah.
You know, a
Yeah.
lot of people had financial issues.
Yeah, she had to quit her job sooner than expected, but
Yeah.
she had inheritance money that she used wisely, so
Yeah, no, I don't really think there's any excuse for him going to a spicy
Yeah.
club without, partner's permission.
exactly. But we do have an update. First, I found out yesterday that my husband didn't just get one lap dance, but 3 or more lap dances, according to him. He wasn't sure if Logan did more than one lap dance because Chase was obviously occupied. It seems that I'm uncovering lie after lie. First, it was I didn't get a lap dance, and then it was he got a lap dance, but not me. And then I got a lap dance. Then I got 3 lap dances. As of today, he will be staying with his family for a week before we reconvene and plan on reconciliation options such as marriage therapy. Second, as I expected, Logan did not come clean to Lydia, so I took on the responsibility of telling her what happened. At around 11 p.m. last night, it was evident that she still didn't know, so while we were hanging out in the guest room, I told her. I prefaced that I could only really explain from my relationship's point of view, and my intention was not to hurt her relationship, overstep, or bash Logan in any way. That's a good way to start it. After I told her, she said she confidently confirmed that I didn't overstep and was very grateful I told her because Logan hadn't confessed, and she was worried that he wouldn't have done so at all. She told me that she was mad and very hurt by it, and although she was certain that he knew she wasn't okay with it, especially given their Christian values, she wasn't sure if they actually had a conversation about boundaries since getting married and becoming parents. She was particularly hurt because they had, for the first time in ages, a good conversation about their relationship dynamic, which they were both unhappy with. Instead of getting defensive like he normally would, he actually listened and took accountability, and she felt that this was a really big step forward. Given the circumstances she was unaware of, she is questioning the intentions that he had in that conversation. Was it guilt? Was it genuine? Did they actually take a step forward if his intents were to soften the blow of this? Lydia told me that they started doing occasional counseling sessions before this incident because finances impede the ability to do more sessions, and she intends for them to discuss this both today and in counseling. This isn't marriage ending for her, but she is now very concerned about what he does when he isn't home because he travels for work 2 to 3 weeks out of every month. She said that she hasn't really had reason to believe anything has happened during his travels, but now she's worried he may be acting up whenever he's traveling. I woke up this morning at 4:15 a.m. to Logan knocking on my door loudly, asking if I needed a ride to the airport, to which I declined. He waited on the steps outside of the room, fully dressed and ready for the day, which is very unusual, as I was getting ready to head to the airport. It really felt like he was waiting to confront me when I didn't have Chase around.
He's like, do you need a ride to the airport?
Yeah.
Do you want to be alone in a car with me?
Right. But also,
I don't trust him.
I'm wondering if about this. Maybe are they like in a hotel together or something like that? Like, why are they
I don't know. I think they're just close by.
just like neighbors or
Yeah.
something? Sounds like this would be like a bedroom door or something.
No, I think it's like house door because Chase isn't there.
Yeah. I guess so.
I don't know.
So I'm wondering like how he heard it. But I guess, I don't know. Some sort of situation, but this is what we know. I could see that Lydia wasn't in the bedroom, and she told me the night prior she was going to sleep somewhere else in the house because of the situation and because of Logan's obnoxious snoring. Chase immediately picked up on it and decided to follow me outside to my Uber just in case our suspicions were correct. Logan followed us outside too, and although he didn't say anything about the situation, it was clear he knew I told her. Thankfully, I got into my Uber and am letting the rest play out as it is now out of my hands. I don't regret telling her one single bit, and she thanks me several times for being honest. I truly wish the best for their marriage because I know that Chase and Logan aren't evil people, but they made decisions knowing it would hurt us. Lydia is going to be out of town this week for unrelated reasons, and she is going to keep me updated. The whole experience has left me questioning so many things about trust and marriage. When we went on this trip, I thought we were two couples who were solid, maybe with some normal relationship bumps. But instead, I discovered that both marriages had serious underlying issues that were being hidden behind lies and avoidance. What bothers me most isn't even the spicy club itself, though that was a violation of our boundaries. It's the elaborate deception that followed. The fact that both men were willing to look their wives in the eye and lie repeatedly shows a level of disrespect that goes beyond a momentary lapse in judgment. They had multiple opportunities to come clean, and instead they doubled down on their deception. I keep thinking about how Logan sat in that car with all of us, listening to Lydia ask innocent questions about their night and continued to lie to her face. Meanwhile, she's at home struggling with depression and anxiety, partly because she feels like her husband doesn't love her anymore. And all the while, he's out getting lap dances and then lying about it. The cruelty of that really gets to me. For Chase and me, this incident has forced us to confront issues that have been building for years. His pattern of violating my trust, making poor choices, and then trying to minimize or hide them has created a dynamic where I feel like I'm constantly having to be the relationship police. I'm exhausted by it. The separation isn't just about the spicy club. It's about whether we can build a foundation of honesty and respect that we've really never had. I'm also grappling with the role I played in Logan and Lydia's marriage drama. Some people might say that I should have minded my own business, but I genuinely believe that withholding that information from my friend would have been a betrayal of our friendship. She deserved to know what her husband was doing behind her back, especially when she was opening up to me about feeling unloved and disrespected. How could I sit there listening to her pain and not tell her about something that was directly contributing to it? The morning confrontation with Logan was particularly unsettling. The fact that he was up and dressed at 4:15 a.m., waiting outside my door, felt very intentional and somewhat threatening. I'm grateful Chase was there because I think Logan was planning to intimidate me or try to convince me to keep quiet. The whole thing just reinforced that I made the right choice in telling Lydia. Looking ahead, I'm not sure what the future holds for either marriage. Lydia seems committed to working through this with Logan, which I respect, but I worry about her. She's already struggling with her mental health, and now she has to deal with this betrayal on top of everything else. I hope their counseling helps, but Logan's pattern of resentment and dishonesty seems deeply ingrained. And by the way, we have a pattern of bringing out more full stories of episodes just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, what do we think about all
Leave your
that?
husbands. Leave them both. I
Yeah.
don't like either of them. They're both liars. They both suck.
Yeah.
Boo.
I think if you're able to fix things with Chase, then like great.
Yeah, I guess so.
But if the problems that have been coming up because of the situation are just more about his dishonesty and like ignoring problems and stuff, that's not a really good. That's not a great
good.
foundation for a marriage.
No, pretty
So,
shaky.
Yeah. But there is a little bit more to the story. As for Chase and me, we have a lot of work to do. Separation will give us both time to think about what we really want and whether we can build something healthy together. I love him, but love isn't enough if there isn't trust and respect. I'm not willing to spend the rest of my life feeling like I can't trust my own husband. This whole experience has been a harsh reminder that you never really know what's going on in other people's marriages, including your own sometimes. We all put on these facades of having it together, but underneath there can be so much pain and dysfunction. I'm hoping that by bringing the truth to light, both couples can actually address their real issues instead of pretending everything is fine while slowly destroying their relationships with lies and resentment. And that is the end of that story. And
Good
yeah,
luck.
that's all very true.
Yeah.
We invited my husband's friend to our open relationship, and she never moved on.
Uh-oh.
This started in 2022 and ended with us filing a police report yesterday.
She really never moved on.
And by the way, this comes directly from our subreddit. Just letting you know. For some background, husband and I have been together 12 years, married for 4. He's been friends with Lola since high school, and though they never dated, they did have a brief physical relationship. By the way, this comes from user specific orchid4973, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit where this story was submitted. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice, goofily folks, but we don't always have all the answers. We only know what we would do in any given situation, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments, okay. Right after high school, they had a bit of a falling out because she started dating a guy who wasn't okay with her having guy friends, so she cut husband off. Maybe 2 years passed, and Lola reached out to husband to apologize for cutting him off. She explained how toxic her ex had ended up being, and they slowly rebuilt their friendship. I never had a problem with this, as 1, I trust my husband, and 2, Lola never seemed interested in anything other than friendship. After we got married, husband and I discussed the potential of a third in our relationship. I promise this is relevant. Before we started the looking process, we set ground rules and expectations. Our immediate friend circle was off limits, obviously, but I was open to the idea of more distant friends so long as we all communicated. Lola fell into this category. I was hesitant at first, but ultimately decided that if she was open to the idea, we could see where it went. Husband told her about our relationship dynamics and asked if that was something she would be interested in. She said she would need to think about it, and then a couple months later, she declined the offer. Husband accepted her answer, and their friendship resumed as usual. To clarify, their relationship was mostly texting and only meeting to hang out in person once every couple months. We eventually started a relationship with someone else, though it was short-lived. This occurred around March 2022. By May 2022, husband got a new job roughly 30 minutes away. Since I work from home and lived too close to toxic family, we decided to move closer to his new job. We began house hunting, and it was a long process. So we put house hunting on pause until the spring, or at least until after the holidays. Fast forward to January 2023, and I'm pregnant.
Woo!
We had been trying and were over the moon to be expecting. This meant we needed to house hunt immediately. In April, we closed on our house and were so happy to share our joys with our friends and family. Lola has never wanted kids. She made it very clear she was much happier as a dog mom. So when she congratulated us, there was never a hint of jealousy. With a new house and baby on the way, we paused looking for another partner. Life got busy, and admittedly, we were in our own little bubble of bliss, so husband wasn't reaching out to Lola as often, though if she reached out, he would reply. In October 23, we welcomed the most beautiful baby girl into the world. As most new parents do, we neglected some of our more distant friendships. Most of them were understanding. Lola was not.
This is such an awkward relationship with this girl. Like, you asked her to be in your open relationship. She rejected that. But she's still around? I'm confused.
She started getting angry with husband for not reaching out more, and she said she felt like he didn't care about their friendship. He apologized and explained that life had been busy, and it was hard to focus on things outside of me and our baby. Lola eventually escalated, saying husband was mad because she rejected him when he brought up our open relationship. She started being very nasty and wouldn't listen to anything husband had to say. It got to a point where husband told her that if she truly thought he didn't care about their friendship and only wanted to sleep with her, then maybe they just shouldn't be friends. He blocked her number. A few months passed, and she started messaging him from a different number, accusing him again of only wanting to sleep with her and not caring about their friendship. He tried to explain that he respected her choice when she said no, and that he didn't have any hurt feelings about it, and he wasn't ignoring her. He was just distracted by life. Lola accused him of making excuses, and husband reached his limit. He told her that if she didn't believe anything he said, why keep reaching out? He blocked that number too. Several months went by, and then on a random Thursday night, husband got a text from a random number. It said, "Why haven't you noticed that baby looks nothing like you, darling? Genuine concern. Don't bother asking who this is. I just want you to think about it. Have a good night."
Don't ask who this is. It's not Lola. But have you thought about the fact that your wife is probably cheating on you?
Husband replied that he really thought they had the wrong number. The number texted back, "There you go again. But have it your way. Just wondering." We had a good laugh about this and assumed it must be Lola because who else would it be? The next night, more texts came in from the same number. They said, "I just want you to admit it. Open marriage and all, right? You dumb C-word. That kid isn't yours. I gave you such a blessing by telling you." Husband responded, asking what she wanted from him and why she was trying so desperately to screw with his marriage. The number replied back, "I'm not wrong though, am I?" Husband told her that I don't see other men and never had any interest in seeing other men, and asked again why she was trying so hard to mess with him. What did she want from him? She wants the baby. She replied, "Suffering seems like a decent request." Who is this
Block
lady?
this number.
Husband told her he never understood. They had been doing so well, and then once he told her we were moving and expecting, everything went haywire. He asked why and begged her to help him understand.
Literally block her.
Why are we entertaining her?
This is just like, I want to know why you're so deranged.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not interested in simplifying my anger. I cannot make this easier for you. I'm open to a phone call, but even then, I don't know. That's all I can offer. Husband told her she wouldn't let him leave or stay. She wanted him to admit to something that wasn't true, but she refused to believe anything else he had said. He admitted he should have reached out more often, but life happens. To everyone. They grow up and have their own lives, and time gets away. He explained that it had been 3 years since he had seen his best friend, and he could have sworn it was only a few months ago. He reminded her they weren't in high school anymore and were both adults. He apologized again for how she felt, but told her there was no reason to believe it would end any differently than it always had, with Lola hating him. He admitted she had been an incredible friend, and that he was happy when she was in his life, but he was now happy without her in it, and he refused to go through this again. She replied that his assumptions were annoying and told him to grow out of assuming who she was now. She said he didn't know her. I don't want to know you. Leave me alone.
I want to know less of you.
Stop talking to me, freak.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was rude, but you're acting freakish. Like you're acting like I'm going to get a letter in the mail written with newspaper clippings.
Yikes.
He asked her again what she wanted from him, pointing out that she seemed to hate him so much, but wouldn't just leave him alone or let him leave. She told him, "Who said I hated you? No one's forcing you to respond or deal with me either. To be honest, I'm not that scary. But I'm not surprised people run when I'm mad. I'm very cold. I'll admit that." He blocked her again, but a few weeks later, another new number texted calling him a liar, telling him not to ever contact her again, and saying he only wanted what he couldn't have. She told him, "F you, small wiener man. Leave me alone.
Wiener
You mad I
witch.
figured it out?" Husband told her this was the problem. It's why. She kept lashing out at him. He said if she wanted to talk, just talk, but instead she attacked. He explained that she herself acknowledged it was an issue, but then turned around and kept doing it. He said he had told her the truth over and over, but she refused to listen and never would. So he was done. It seems like every time he says he's done, he
She
just
comes back
continues to
around.
reply to these stupid messages.
Yeah, I feel like if you're done, you gotta just stop replying altogether.
I think you need to do it and be like, next time I'm calling the police.
Yeah,
Next time I'm filing a report. Next time there will be consequences.
exactly.
She replied, "Is that what you think it is? I just want to add, don't ever say attack to a person of color. You should know yourself how offensive that is. I never attacked you. You were a crappy friend, and I didn't let it slide." Blocked again, but then came another number. This one said, "What's your dang problem? Grow up and actually answer. So over this crap, and don't ever come at me that you're busy with a baby you chose to have."
What?
Whatever. Just,
You're busy with a baby you chose to have. What does that mean?
yeah, at this point, either just like stop responding to her or like get a new number.
That's like saying like, oh,
Or like put this out there.
You're busy with college that you chose to go to. Yes,
I am.
I am busy. I yes, I chose to do it, and I'm busy with it.
Honestly, take screen caps of this and put it on social
Yeah.
media and say, "Look at what she sent today."
I just think block her.
Shame her until she
I think
stops.
block her and keep blocking.
By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime with your thumbs or your voice, and you can listen to the whole archive. We got a little bit more left. We already know what we all want him to do. We want him to stop replying.
Yeah.
So, husband told her he wasn't going to speak to someone who only wanted to cause harm to him or his relationship. He warned that the number would be blocked and any further contact would be collected as evidence towards intimidation charges, which leads us to the other day when yet another new number texted. Are you still mad or holding a grudge?
How does she get all these numbers?
I'm disappointed in how all this turned out. He immediately blocked and we filed a police report.
Good.
It's sad that it has come to this, and I almost feel bad because Lola is clearly unwell mentally, but no sane person behaves this way. We hope that a nice chat with a police officer will help reinforce the boundary and maybe give her a wake-up call to work on herself.
Yeah.
And that is the end of that story.
Yeah.
And
just
low
keep
key,
blocking.
Honestly, like, I think we kind of need to give husband a wake-up call that, like, not every issue has to be, like, fully worked out in, like, a
Yeah.
mature, like
We could just
thoughtful
block those
way
people.
when the person we're talking to is not mature and thoughtful.
Yeah, she's not reasonable, so don't try to reason with her.
That was way too many attempts.
Yeah.
My husband's grandparents sued us over a house they squatted in.
That just don't make sense.
My husband, 31 male, John, and I, 28 female, don't live in his home state where most of his family lives. 3 years ago, his mother, Debbie, 56 female, unexpectedly passed away. It was a devastating loss, to say the least. My husband was very close with his mother. His father was completely out of the picture, so she raised him as a single mother and worked 2 to 3 jobs to keep a roof over their head and bills
Wow.
paid. By the way, this comes from Desperate Plum 5772, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley,
I'm Sophia.
and we're here to give good advice in a goofy manner, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so get in those comments. His half-brother Jake, 37 male, wasn't as close to their mother, and from what I understand, lived with his bio dad and stepmom for most of his upbringing. He and his wife live about 2 hours downstate from Debbie and didn't visit often when she was alive. When we flew out for the funeral, we stayed with John's grandparents, Ron and Linda. Ron is not John's grandfather. He married Linda when Debbie and her siblings were teenagers. As long as I've known John, Ron has made it very clear, without outright saying it, that he holds his children and grandchildren in higher regard than Linda's children and grandchildren. He did not have a kind word to say about Debbie after she passed. He seemed indifferent at best and irritated to have to deal with her estate. He made several insensitive comments regarding the mess she'd left them with during the week that they were there. Ron took over planning everything, and Linda seemingly took the back seat. Ron did not ask John or Jake about funeral preparations or burial information. He would just tell us what was happening. Her funeral is Thursday. She's getting buried in a plot next to ours. This is the casket, and these are the flowers. At the time, it was a relief to my husband because of how overcome with grief he was. It was a nice funeral, and what was truly heartwarming was the number of people who showed up for her. She had so many people who loved her, so many lives she touched. After the funeral, we went to Debbie's house to try and find any important documents. There was confusion about the deed and who was on it, if there were taxes owed or who would pay. Ron implied that he was on the title or deed. It was and still is unclear to us if Ron and Linda were co-signers for the house or on the deed or what their role was with the house. We were ultimately unable to find any important documentation regarding the estate at Debbie's house. We did discover that Debbie had a roommate, a woman she met through work who was having a rough time and needed somewhere to go. Debbie was a kind Christian woman who'd really do anything for anyone, so it's no surprise she offered her a room. We flew home and didn't know what was to come of the estate. Because we live so far away, John and Jake came to an agreement that John would sign whatever rights he had to the estate over to Jake. Jake had his lawyer mail all the paperwork, and it seemed squared away. Jake promised John he wouldn't screw him out of anything. Over the next year and a half, Jake would occasionally give John updates about the house going through the probate process and how they weren't sure what they were going to do with the roommate or if they'd have to file to evict her. Neither Jake nor John could afford to keep the house, even with renting it out. The house was, and still is, in really bad condition. We both have young families and just aren't in a position to fix it up to code. The plan was, once the property was in Jake's name, he would sell it and split the money with John. John's childhood friend passed away during this time, so John flew home for the funeral. When he visited his grandma Linda and Ron made a comment that he was expecting to be paid back $12,000 for the funeral arrangements for Debbie once the house sold. He then asked John if he liked his mother's headstone, because he would also have to pay back the $800 that it cost. I hate that setup. I hate that delivery.
No.
Like, money stuff is always weird. I hate the idea of this person being like, do you like your mother's headstone?
Yeah.
Because you're going to pay for it. Like, just ask for the money.
You
Just
don't
talk
have
it
to-
out.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
You don't have, I don't know. I feel like I have like older grandparents and, who they're like things are being made, just the plans are being made and
Mhm.
stuff. And it's just so complicated.
John was taken aback because had we known we'd be responsible for the costs, we would have started a GoFundMe. We would have taken over the planning. We barely have the financial means to keep ourselves afloat. John didn't respond and didn't see Ron again during his stay. Jump to a little more than a year ago. Ron was at home and plugged in some faulty appliance, which ended up catching fire and burning their home down. Thankfully, both Ron and Linda were unharmed, but they lost a lot in the fire. Ron and Linda immediately moved into Debbie's house with the roommate who was still living there. They didn't speak with Jake prior to moving in. They didn't ask to move in. They just did. Jake would give John updates and said that Ron treated him how he always had, belittling him and being disrespectful. Jake wasn't willing to put up with it anymore. 8 months later, when Jake finally gained rights to the estate, or it had gone through probate, not sure of the correct terminology. Ron asked Jake if he and Grandma could continue to rent the house for $600 a month while they waited for their own house to be rebuilt. Ron and Linda's house was being rebuilt by Ron's brother, who was a contractor and jack-of-all-trades kind of man. It was taking longer than expected. The walls and roof were up, windows and doors were on, but it wasn't finished. The $600 wasn't enough to cover the monthly expenses of Debbie's property, and the house was not in livable condition. There was mold on the ceilings and walls. It needed a new roof, new appliances, and new windows. Jake ended up taking Ron and Linda and the roommate to court to have them evicted so he could get the property ready to sell. John was made aware of the eviction when Ron messaged him asking if he was going to show up to court too. John responded that he didn't even know about court since we live 1,000 miles away, and seized the opportunity to tell Ron just how he felt about it.
He's like, I don't know anything about court. And another thing.
The only court I know is the basketball court. Get ready.
Let's
Get ready
settle
for your
this on
ankles.
that court.
Let's settle this on the tennis court,
Yeah.
please. John really aired his grievances with Ron, and Ron was unsurprisingly defensive and dismissive of everything John said. Linda's sister called John and asked why he and Jake were doing this. Ron's son Mason, 50s male, started a group chat with John, Jake, and Debbie's siblings to voice his opinion on how terrible they were for doing this to their grandparents. John's uncle, Debbie's brother Rick, chimed in too about how the boys should be ashamed, and Jake especially. He said Debbie would be rolling in her grave from her own boys doing this to her mother. Those messages really tore John up. He loved his mother and loves his grandmother, but he also supports Jake because neither of us are in the position to keep the house. The court date came and went. Ron and Linda were given a 60-day notice, and that was that. We flew out to visit Linda last month to clear up some of this turmoil and have our 1-year-old son meet that side of the family. Because Linda doesn't really use a phone often, she and John rarely communicate. When we showed up, Ron completely ignored us, didn't say a single word, and stayed in the back bedroom for the duration of our visit. It was a wonderful visit outside of that, watching our son meet his great-grandma. John and Linda spoke briefly about what was going on. John told her how he didn't want to punt her out, that he wasn't doing this to her, and Jake didn't consult him prior to going through with the eviction. There were a lot of tears, but I could tell they both felt better after seeing each other. It's unclear how in the loop Linda actually is, if Ron is just controlling everything and limiting her information, but she did make remarks about how the boys would have lost the house had Ron not paid for it, and that they should just be grateful for that. We saw her a few times after that, but didn't discuss the house. We flew home and felt like a little weight was lifted from our shoulders. Mason messaged the group chat again that he was prepping his trailer for Ron and Linda to live in over the next few weeks while their house got finished, and that he couldn't believe this was happening in our family. John and Jake didn't respond. Today, Jake's lawyer's office reached out to him because Ron and Linda are suing Jake over the funeral expenses and more, claiming they were asked to pay for it. They are also claiming they were co-signers on the mortgage and paid for the house after Debbie passed away, preventing the boys from losing the house. They are suing for roughly $45,000.
Dang. I feel like if they were asked to pay for it and they were planning on suing, they could have just not paid for it, you know?
Well, and they weren't asked to pay for it. That's like, again, the kind of tough thing. And if we're here to give genuine advice, goofily, like, just you have to be so tight on the communication about this stuff. Like, and it sucks because you're right. There's grief. The last thing you want to be thinking about is logistics.
Money.
But, like, you know, for whoever, for OP, for anybody who has to go through something like this, like, God, you just have to get everything watertight.
I just feel like their argument of, like, we were asked to pay $40,000 and now we're going to sue you because we paid that for it. Like, did you even pay $40,000?
I don't know. You can listen to what I do know is you can listen to full episodes, stories just like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Search OK Story. Whatever your favorite one is, go to
That's
it.
the right one.
Okay, I do have some updates.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts, or are we just going straight into this?
Roll straight in.
John was distraught over hearing this. It's so clear that this is not what Debbie would have wanted. All of this turmoil in the family. Passing really does bring out the worst in people. John called his grandma and tried to explain that by suing Jake, they are taking away money from their young family and ours, who have it 100 times harder in this world than they did. Ron and Linda are far from poor. They got a lot of money from the insurance claim on their house, not to mention Social Security and state retirement pensions. Most of the family thinks that we are the a-holes. It's not like Ron and Linda don't have other people they could stay with either. John's uncle Junior, Linda's son, lives 1 mile down the road from them. Linda's sister has an Airbnb 3 hours out of town she could put them up in.
Go
Ron has
there.
3 sons, including Mason, who are in the area. Are we the a-holes? No, because I thought about that when Mason was
Yeah.
like, well, like, now I have to prep to get the trailer ready for mom and dad.
Why
And
didn't we
it's like,
use that?
They're living in the mold house?
Yeah. Why wasn't that option number 1?
Or the Airbnb?
Or the Airbnb that you guys have?
Sorry,
or just
guys.
Anywhere else.
We've got a bachelorette party coming in.
Yeah.
I just can't rent out. I can't let you stay in the Airbnb right now.
That's kind of my man cave.
yeah. ooh.
My husband wanted to take a cruise with another woman and lied about it.
You can take a cruise on out of this relationship.
Oh, my 30 female husband, 38 male of 3 years, will always receive free cruise trips for 2 passengers at least once every 2 months. He is self-employed and able to work remotely while I am working in an office with limited annual leave entitlement. This means he can always travel freely while I'm almost always stuck at work. By the way, this comes from Impatient Procrastinate, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, while he will always check with me first on my availability to go on these free cruise trips, oftentimes I won't be able to join, and he would go alone instead. On rare events that I did join the cruise, it wasn't that enjoyable for me as he would spend a lot of time in the casino instead of accompanying me for a swim, gym, or show. This means that I'm mostly alone during non-mealtime and cruising days. Hence, I would rather use my annual leave on air travels instead of going on cruises. Recently, he told me that one of his friends, AITAH, 33 female, recently single, important note there, is interested in joining him for the cruise trip since she is available during that period and it is free of charge. Survey says,
No.
for background info, I had agreed and was comfortable with him going on a 2-week overseas trip with another friend, 38 female, single, as her actions are totally appropriate towards opposite gender based on the limited interactions that I had with B. However, I'm not comfortable with him traveling with AITAH, as I had observed AITAH being inappropriate in front of a group of friends, sitting on the lap of another guy that was just a friend of hers.
Get off his lap.
That's not where friends sit. That's not where they sit.
Get off his lap.
I don't know. Dakota sits in my lap a couple times.
I sit on a lot of my friend's lap. But
yeah,
but in
that's
this case,
but not here.
off.
Not like this.
Get a spray bottle.
yeah. We are all from Asian culture. I have not seen her make any inappropriate action towards my husband, though. My husband casually mentioned to me that AITAH suggested that the 3 of us share a room on the cruise as long as it is free of charge. He told me that he is totally not comfortable with AITAH's suggestion. I also told him that I disagree with him going on any one-on-one trip with AITAH because of the said incident I observed. Today, not sure if it's my sixth sense or what, I went to secretly read my husband's chat with AITAH. Aww.
No.
It was my first time, believe it or not. When AITAH first asked if she could join him for the free cruise, he replied that he will definitely say yes if he is not married. But then he went ahead and checked cruise availability based on their available dates. This was not aligned with what he told me, and it felt fishy. Thankfully, the cruise is fully booked for their dates. On one hand, I feel guilty to limit the number of trips that he can go on just because of my limited annual leave, and I want him to travel as much as possible before we have children. On the other hand, I feel insecure as I had gained about 66 pounds since dating him, though my husband is overweight too. Both of his female friends are slim, above average looking, and date men on and off. My husband doesn't have any male friend to travel together with, as all his male friends are married with children. AITAH and him don't have any mutual friends, so if they travel together, it would just be the 2 of them. Is it okay that I asked if I can check his chat with AITAH and then clarify with him if he intends to travel one-on-one with her? And there
It would have
is
been
an
okay
update.
if you hadn't secretly done it. But
Yeah.
more so, you shouldn't be in a relationship because you don't trust each other.
Yeah, because honestly, I mean, like,
It is weird. It is suspicious that he said that.
Well, it could be, but also I feel like it could not be. You know what I mean? Like,
The thing is, yeah, I don't know. It's just like OP's lack of trust,
Yeah.
which might be totally correct
right.
and on spot.
It's
but-
yeah,
Regardless, like you don't trust your partner, so
yeah. Like if he's telling you something different than what you're finding in the chat, then that's something that I would definitely not trust.
yeah.
Those words alone, I feel like could be taken either way. Like I feel like it could be like,
Yeah.
oh, if I'm not married, then I'd totally get with you. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
you know?
but it was like
or
if
it
I'm not
could
married,
be
I couldn't-
like,
I
you
would go
know,
on this.
yeah, like because I'm married, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I can't really
be
do
respectful.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh no.
I mean, like,
Clothes fell off.
written texts can be taken very, very different ways.
Right. They're difficult.
Yeah.
So I don't think you'd be the a-hole for asking to check the text messages.
Yeah, no.
We'll clarify that, I guess. But we do have an update. So last night before we went to sleep, I asked my husband who he had invited to go on the cruise with him. He claimed that he didn't remember.
Ooh.
I told him that it was impossible to forget, but he stayed silent. Since I was exhausted after a sleepless night, I decided not to push the conversation and went to sleep. The next morning, I brought it up again and asked him one last time who he had invited. He finally admitted that it was AITAH. When I asked if he was planning to share a room with her, he avoided answering and instead justified himself by saying that he only wanted her to gamble in order to earn free cruises like he does. Wait, what?
Huh?
That's just like a weird line. What do you do?
Huh? What do you
He-
mean?
Does he gamble to get these free
I
cruises?
guess so. I don't understand. And also, he's lying again. More lies. Everyone's lying in the story.
Yeah,
Cut it
like
out.
about not.
He said,
knowing
"Oh
who he
yeah,
invited."
I don't know who." And then OP was like, "Are you staying in the same room?" And he's like,
He avoided the yeah.
Yes, they are."
He added that he already knew that she wouldn't go with him anyway, but I thought she was asking about it.
She was.
To me, that response felt like an indirect admission that he had intended to share a room with her. I asked him why he would even invite AITAH if he knew that she wouldn't agree to go. Deep down, I already knew the answer. He had been trying his luck. If she said no, he would lose nothing. If she said yes, he would get what he wanted. When I pressed further, he deflected by asking what I meant. After a long pause, I asked him what he would do differently if everything could restart. His answer was that he would ask me first before inviting AITAH, and he apologized. I told him that I had given him a lot of trust because I believe trust is crucial in every relationship. I explained that I didn't want that trust to be misused. I acknowledged that it's normal for people in long-term relationships to sometimes find others attractive or even have inappropriate thoughts. But I reminded him that I trusted him to be mature enough not to put himself in situations where things could go wrong or where he'd be exposed to unnecessary temptations. I also said that no couple is ever a perfect 100% match, and that's okay. But if he ever felt like I wasn't giving him enough or that I was lacking in some way, I wanted him to talk to me about it rather than looking outside of our marriage to fill those gaps. I made it clear that I had thought deeply about this and that I was prepared to walk away from what we had built together if it came to that. He stayed silent while I spoke. After the conversation, I went into another room to give him space to think. About 20 minutes later, he came in, hugged me, and gave me a sincere apology. I accepted it. I believe our marriage is still salvageable, although I can't say I trust him as much as before. Still, I've decided to give him a bit of trust as he earns it back over time. And there is an update.
Ooh-wee.
I mean, it seems like we made more progress there.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's another update.
I don't believe it. I don't
Yeah,
trust it.
I
I
don't
feel like
really
there's
know.
suspicious. I don't know. I just feel like she doesn't trust him. He's still lying to her, even when she brings it up
Yeah.
and gives him a chance to come forward. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, if he really does understand that he,
Messed up.
should have done this all differently. And if that apology really was genuine, then maybe things can be rebuilt. But like she
I
said,
hope
he would
so.
have to earn her trust back over time.
Yeah.
But there is an update, so let's see. Update number 2. I asked to have another talk with him. Well, I made the choice to trust him again. Going back to our original routine like nothing happened is not going to earn back my trust for him. He has to do much more than that. He has to think how to earn back my trust to the original level. Initiating more intimacy with me is not going to solve the problem. He remained silent again. I then left the room to give him the space to think. After around 5 minutes, he came to find me, begging me to go back to the room again. I refused. I told him that I left the room to give him space to think and that it's not an ultimatum. If he needs more time to think, I can wait for a few days, but he can no longer remain silent on this, or else we cannot move forward with our marriage. Remaining silent hurts as much. He has to do something to make our marriage work. He offered to show me his cruise booking through the app to prove that he will be alone in the room. He also passed me his phone to check his chat with AITAH. I didn't check the cruise booking as even if he is not sharing a room with anyone, it doesn't prove that he is going alone. There isn't much suspicion in his chat with AITAH, apart from the "I will definitely say yes if I'm not married." While scrolling through texts, he was explaining the conversation that he had with AITAH. He invited her as he knew that she enjoyed cruises and gambling, but it's too costly for her to go frequently. He didn't invite any other friends as they have family commitments or they have no interest in cruises. He will still go on this upcoming cruise alone, as after this cruise, he will be upgraded to the next tier. This means that our next cruise will come with free room upgrades, lounge access, and another place to eat with peace without squeezing in the buffet area. I then explained in detail why it was inappropriate to invite her. She recently broke up, she doesn't have clear boundaries with the opposite gender, and she has no control in booze intake. As a responsible adult, you don't put yourself in circumstances with unnecessary risks. Things may or may not happen. If it happens, you have to bear the consequences. If it doesn't happen, you already knew that you can resist the temptation, but it doesn't mean you can resist it again next time. I did not stay in contact with all of my exes because I don't want to have all of the unnecessary risks. I had close friends of the opposite gender, but I went low contact after they have partners. Because both of us are innocent, this does not mean that it will not cause issues in their relationships. I have never stopped him from meeting friends of the opposite gender because I trust him. But now, because of his interactions with AITAH, it makes me not want to meet and know AITAH personally. AITAH isn't going to be the last case if he continues to blur his boundaries with the opposite gender, and I told him that it's not her fault, it's his fault. But I am okay for him to continue to go out for a meal with her, just don't invite me. He said he doesn't intend to meet her anytime soon because of this issue. He now understood why it's so inappropriate to invite her to go on a cruise with him. He said that I'm his first relationship, so he's still learning what is right and what is wrong. Oh, wow. First relationship. It is unfair for me to expect him to know it from the start, as even with our 7 years of relationship together, he is still learning new things. It is better for me to tell him directly. I asked him if he has rejected AITAH's interest to go on a cruise with him. He said that he didn't intend to. He'll just wait until she asks again and tell her that he no longer has the free cruise. I told him that this is not acceptable. I would expect him to downright reject her now and not keep her hopes up. I don't want her to think that it's okay to go on a trip with him. He said that he will tell her but won't mention it is because I objected to it. And by the way, I will never object to you guys checking out full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is.
True
Just
dat.
search OK Storytime.
Search it up.
I'll never object.
I
Judge.
never object. Judge, judge, judge.
Judge, judge, judge. I don't
I
object.
don't object.
um,
Oh, man.
yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard for me to like think about this relationship when I feel so differently about like gender norms, I guess.
I
in
agree.
this.
I just feel like they don't trust each other. That's my
Yeah,
problem. At the
right?
end of the day, it feels like they don't trust each other.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like I would in some contexts and in some situations, like it might be weird to go on a one-on-one trip with a friend of the gender that you're attracted to, but like
I don't know.
if you trust your person,
yeah, which she doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't trust her, and also I feel like the whole the evidence that AITAH wasn't a trustworthy person
yeah.
was that she sat on another guy's lap, who we don't know was in a relationship. Never heard that.
Right. And
She
like
could just like him.
didn't see Red Bull Rana's. What was that comment that you clicked on?
1 second.
He's getting the cruise because he gambles so much that he's considered a high roller. They get their food, room, bars, stuff like that comped because they drop so much money in the casino.
Interesting. Interesting.
That's crazy.
So they're
thanks for that
basically just
info.
paying for their next
yeah,
day.
pretty much. Yeah, literally. That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, at first I was like, what can I do to get like this guy? But I don't want to do that.
Hey.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
There is a little bit more. He mentioned that he would wish to maintain his friendship with AITAH, as she had initiated to help him through difficult times before my husband and I met, and he won't be able to pass through those times without her help. It is difficult for him at his age, with his work nature having no colleagues, to make new friends. His friends will only get fewer as he ages, unlike me, who can make new friends through work. Hence, he treasures every friendship he has now. I agreed to let him keep the friendship with AITAH, but they have to maintain clear boundaries going forward. His actions and words sounded very sincere to me, and hence I have decided to move past this issue. We will work together to earn back the trust level I had for him previously. And that's the end of that story.
Okay, good luck.
My husband said I'll ruin Christmas because I refused to see his aunt.
You've ruined Christmas.
My husband's aunt hates me. When I was 18, I had schizophrenia and was going through a particularly difficult time mentally. I started slipping into a dissociative state that lasted until June. I didn't check myself into a mental hospital because my ability to communicate was starting to decline, and it became husband's decision, as I was not in my body, sometimes catatonic, and when I spoke, it was full of word salad. By the way, this comes from user Gothic Misunderstood. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit where we got this story. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, I was still pushed to go see his family on Christmas Eve. I didn't want to be anywhere but in my bed, and I coped the only way I knew how. I had never dealt with something so devastating. I bought a bottle of whiskey and a 2-liter of Coca-Cola and drank a big cup and a half of each. I was wasted.
Oh.
I went directly to bed as we were spending the night at his aunt's and went to sleep. Dear husband's aunt was livid. Husband explained that in our state, it's legal to give your underage spouse booze. Wait, what? Husband explained that in our state, it's legal to give your underage spouse booze if you are an of-age spouse and buy it for them in a private setting. After this, I slipped into dissociation. I barely remember anything within those 6 months. I came back to reality in June and got pregnant in September. I gave birth to a baby girl the day after Mother's Day. Husband's aunt showed up unannounced to come see the baby, and I was so embarrassed. I hadn't showered in days. I was leaking through my shirt, and I was pretty sure I had spit up on my clothes and hair. She never spoke to me, never asked me if I was doing okay, or even congratulated me. I nearly passed away having the baby. I suffered from hyperemesis gravidarum, which caused me to need a full mouth extraction and get dentures.
Whoa. That's really tough.
Very,
After having the kid?
yeah, very extreme.
Whew.
I had PUPPS or PUPPs. I was hypotensive and hypoglycemic, very anemic, malnourished, and vitamin deficient. I
Oh.
dislocated my leg from my hip during labor. My safe food was apples. Apparently, eating only apples every day can land you in the doctor's office. I decided this baby would be the only baby I ever had and had my tubes
Yeah.
tied as my doctor told me I would probably not make it if I went through it again.
Absolutely. If anyone went through that experience, that would you would never want to go through that again.
Yeah, agreed. Over time, I have tried to build a connection to his aunt. I try speaking to her about my daughter's achievements, top 3% in her grade in the state, according to state testing, a guaranteed spot in the choir, exempt from auditions. Oh, that's congratulations. She's gifted and talented, almost got into Mensa. She brushed it off and said, that's what she's supposed to do. How to deal with someone who's just a spoil sport lame-o
Yeah.
who doesn't say anything positive.
Who's always negative and always have to say, "Oh, that sucks." Debbie Downer.
Silly baby. Your aunt, your husband's aunt, silly baby. She says, well, that's what she's supposed to do. Silly baby. Silly baby doesn't know how to say congratulations. Silly baby hasn't learned how to say that yet.
Aw, it's
Aw.
okay.
And then it's like, oh my God, are we going to let the thoughts and opinions and words of a silly baby
Silliest
dictate
baby.
the way we feel?
No, because that baby's so
No.
silly.
That'd be crazy.
I wouldn't let a baby tell me how to do my taxes. It's a baby.
Aunt will complain about her knee pain. I have peripheral neuropathy and trigeminal neuralgia on top of hypermobility. I often have trouble walking because of my knees and carry knee and ankle braces with me everywhere. I sometimes use a cane. So I try to join the conversation because, hey, I can relate. She gives me a disgusted look on her face and says, okay, or I'm met with passive-aggressive silence. It's kind of spread to the rest of the family. I will try to join conversations and will get deer-in-headlight stares the moment I speak. Then comes a dismissive, okay, and they change the conversation. I have become very self-conscious of my speech pattern around them. Since I have schizophrenia, I suffer from disorganized thoughts, which is reflected in my speech. I have tried for the past 9 years every year to connect. Every gathering, I become more and more focused on the words in the sentences I string together and their placement, all in an effort to try to successfully wear the disguise of a neurotypical woman. The effort is futile. Your husband's aunt still refuses to speak to me. Husband and adoptive mother-in-law have repeatedly told his aunt that she needs to speak to me or she won't be seeing her, or else we won't be seeing her anymore, and convinced me to come to her house for Christmas Eve. I started driving my own car in case I wanted to leave. So I caved and I went. Last year, she spoke about me, not to me though. I recently discovered that I have a talent for sewing. The Christmas after I started sewing in March, I designed and created a beautiful Christmas dress for my daughter. Light blue, sparkly tulle, triple circle skirt over a double circle skirt of white satin with a top of blue snowflakes on a white background printed on minky fabric and a rhinestone trim all around the waist with small rhinestone snowflakes hand sewn on the top.
That's gorgeous.
It was my masterpiece.
It sounds like it.
Sounds like a delightful
Sounds like everyone's gonna be
winter
happy,
garb.
and they're gonna say, "Oh, that's beautiful," and everything's perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Husband's aunt looked
No.
at my daughter, and my daughter did a spin and said, "My mama made this all by herself by hand." And husband's aunt says to adoptive mother-in-law, "I didn't know OP could sew." And adopted mother-in-law said, "Neither did we." While other family members gathered around me asking questions, husband's aunt had walked away and didn't acknowledge my existence again. I was upset, but I knew it would take time.
You know what? I actually thought she kind of did give you a compliment there.
Yeah.
She said, "I didn't know you could sew." She could have been like, "Oh, that rag, you got a little burlap sack on. Anyone could make that."
Right. She didn't
She
go
said-
like,
I didn't know OP could sew.
Then I had my daughter's birthday at my home. I was forced to invite husband's aunt out of courtesy. I sent invitations in early April. I made the invites myself with Photoshop, cardstock, and paint. I used teal envelopes with gold trim on them, so it wasn't easily mistaken for a bill or something. I'd asked to RSVP by a specific date in late April. The Friday before her party, which was on a Sunday, husband's aunt calls adoptive mother-in-law to RSVP. It felt disrespectful. Husband's aunt said she didn't open it until then. But whatever, stuff happens. The night before the party, I pushed my body to its limits trying to clean and make the house presentable. Several people were coming, and since my daughter was born after Mother's Day, her birthday sometimes falls on or near Mother's Day, so she has never had many people come to her party due to that. I was cleaning from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. That is too long for anyone to be cleaning.
Stop.
My body was screaming. The next morning, my body felt like it was made of cement. I could hardly move, but it was 5:30 in the morning, and me and my husband got up and put up the tent outside, decorated, got the cake, set up tables and chairs, and picked up several pizzas. I sat down at one of the tables, my body screaming at me not to move, and that I was stuck there now. Husband's aunt arrives. She acknowledges and briefly speaks with husband. She sits and chats with adoptive mother-in-law. Not a glance to me, not a wave, not a hello. And by the way, you can always say hello to full episodes on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Go search OK Storytime and you can listen to the entire archive of episodes we have available to you. We have a little bit more story left here. Honestly, I'm sticking to my 6-shooter here.
Yeah.
You gotta just accept that the aunt is not gonna
Sucks.
change her ways,
She's just
and
stinky.
that it doesn't have anything to do with you.
Yeah, some people are just like annoying, and you have to be like, I don't even care about your opinion because I have so many other people around me that love me and are nice and supportive,
Yeah.
and we just stick with being friends with those people.
Husband contacted aunt and told her that it wasn't right what she did. She said it was her job as the host to talk to me if she wanted to talk to me. Husband tried to explain I was in a lot of pain and could barely walk for 3 days. She scoffed and said, well, what happened happened. Can't change it now. Husband tried to tell her OP will probably start refusing to go to family gatherings, which in turn will cause daughter not to want to come because she loves her mama, and I will not go out of support for my wife. But now he's saying I will be ruining Christmas if I don't come. I don't want to spend 2 to 3 days in a house where no one speaks to me. It is not fun. I also want to add I haven't drank a drop of booze since that first Christmas. It was the
probably good.
only thing 18-year-old me knew how to cope with, something like that. I've apologized repeatedly, and husband's aunt says, oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I really don't want to go. Any advice, please?
I'm gonna talk to your husband and get on the same page because he clearly doesn't understand that you're being iced out by this, bunch of people.
Yeah, if it's like the whole family's not
Yeah.
talking to you. maybe approach that as a team.
Yeah, and say, hey, your entire family's not talking to me.
Yeah, and you've got difficulties with, schizophrenia and stuff, and it's like, your husband and y'all, you can move as a unit, and he can be your conversational wingman,
Yes.
keeping you supported.
Exactly.
I would attempt
Or
that.
involving you in
And
conversations.
forget the aunt. I feel like if you now forego all of these things because the aunt is so, annoying and rude. But let's get into these comments to finish the story off. Comment 1, ask your husband if he would want to go to a place for 3 days where no one would talk to him or acknowledge his presence. If he wanted to be an outsider watching everyone around him talking and laughing and having a good time, and he was the orphan in the corner not allowed to join. This is the consequences of aunt's behavior. He told her the result of her behavior, and now it's time to follow through. How old is your daughter? A united front in this will drive the point home to your husband. I'm mad at him already because he should have never allowed the aunt to treat you like this from the beginning. When you lost the first baby, you should have been at home in bed, not taken to Christmas celebrations like everything was okay. You're not in the wrong here, OP. This aunt, however, is your husband, and your husband is also. He needs to stand firm and protect you. OP says, our daughter is 7 years old. She's hyper aware of what's going on around her. She sadly knows what's going on, and I didn't want to drag her into the issue. My family says aunt shouldn't be given access to my daughter if she can't respect me enough to say hello, but some members of husband's family say it's selfish to deny aunt from seeing my daughter. Comment 2 says, it's time to start letting his aunt know that she won't be allowed around your daughter if she can't show you decent respect. But she's been doing this for like a decade now, so I don't see how you or your husband have allowed it for this long. And your husband acting like he's standing up for you, then flipping it around is another thing that needs to be discussed. It sounds like he hasn't done much defending, and when he did do it, he flipped it back on you. It's his aunt, and he should have been the first to shut this down, and he hasn't. So now it's your turn to take action, and that is the end of that story.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like your husband's doing a lot to defend you.
I agree.
If he's telling you, you have to go, you're ruining Christmas because you're not going when
It's like, no, clearly,
you've told him the reasons
clearly.
why.
if anyone's ruining Christmas, it's the aunt.
Yeah. She's the Grinch.
She's
and
a real
she hasn't gone
Scrooge.
through any emotional changes.
It's true.
Heart's the same size.
My sister refused to let her family vacation without her.
If I can't go, no one can.
And there is a trigger warning here for emotional abuse. I'm 27 male. Really curious what people think about this situation. My sister, 40 female, and her husband, 41 male, have 2 kids, 9 and 7, both boys. Her husband works in finance, and she works part-time for a family friend, so very flexible hours. By the way, this comes from user Alternative Meat 469. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we're not perfect and we don't always have all the answers. So if you've been through this situation or you have something to say about it, let us know in the comments. OP says, I ran into her husband at Costco and we were talking about summer plans now that the kids weren't in school. He said they were going to camp and I asked if they were going away anywhere. He said no, because my sister wouldn't take time off work and wouldn't let him take the boys without her. He was talking about how much he wants to travel with them and how frustrating it is that my sister won't even take a few days off for a long weekend. A little while later, I had a similar conversation with my sister. I asked about summer plans, and she said they didn't really have any because she was working. I asked if taking time off would really be a big deal, and she said, not really, but she just doesn't want to. I said, what about just letting your husband take them? I asked this because I didn't fully believe what her husband had told me earlier. He is a great guy, but really likes when people feel bad for him. He always has some sort of woe is me type situation going on. She said he wasn't allowed to do that and make those type of memories without her. I think that's awful to do to the children and her husband. Everyone in that family except her wants to travel. It's fine if she doesn't want to, but I don't think she should be stopping them. I gently told her, maybe you could reconsider letting your husband and the boys go without you so they can experience the things they want to do. She freaked out and started screaming about how no one is ever on her side, and how her husband and our mom are narcissists, and how I'm going to be one too. It was wild. I apologized and said it was none of my business anyway. We watched some TV, and then I went home. Any advice would be appreciated. Real advice? I mean, sure, you could be like, hey, buddy, she can't, like, handcuff you to the house. Like, you and your kids can still leave, and she'll probably hem and haw, but, you know, she's being unreasonable. The other option would probably be, like, find every single cool, fun thing you can do in your town and just do it without her. Because now you're not leaving town. You're not going on vacation.
There you go.
You're just
Yep.
constantly doing fun stuff without
Yeah,
her.
honestly,
Yeah.
make the best out of it. If you really can't do a trip anywhere, might as well go do some fun stuff around the town.
Exactly.
Go around town.
Round
Yeah.
town.
Or just, like, take a day trip, take a weekend, whatever.
Yeah,
Yep.
go watch a baseball game.
Yeah. But in terms of OP, it's like, I think you give that advice to your brother-in-law, and you move on. I
Yeah.
think that's all you can really do.
I agree.
Update. I posted a few weeks ago about my sister who won't take time off work to go on vacation with her husband because she doesn't want them to have memories without her. Well, some interesting developments have happened. Oh boy. Background. My sister works part-time, unpaid, helping out a family friend on their farm. This family friend has farm hands for manual labor. My sister describes herself as being the emotional support human to the animals. Be that to your children. She started this job in 2021 after being a stay-at-home mom for 6 years. She has a law degree, but never practiced. Her husband has a high-paying position at one of the big 4 accounting firms. I came back from a short trip and brought some souvenirs for my nephews. I swung by their house Wednesday to drop them off. My brother-in-law and I chatted for a bit, mostly about my trip. He started talking about how he's going on a work trip and wishes my sister would go with him, but she won't take off work. I'm just nodding and saying things like, oh, interesting. Oh. Very non-committal because I'm not looking to get involved again. Then he starts telling me about her new hobby that she's picked up because of work, horseback riding. She wants a horse. She's traveling to Europe in a few weeks with the family friend to buy a horse. Apparently all the best horses come from Europe, and she's never, which is not true. I don't think.
I'm sure we've got some good horses out here. I'm sure.
Regardless, she's never expressed any interest in this before, but I guess she's a horse girl now. He said it's going to cost at least $40,000 to import this horse. I am absolutely dumbfounded by this. She won't travel with her husband and kids. She won't let him travel with the kids, but she'll go off to Europe to buy a horse. Somehow my brother-in-law is cool with bankrolling this.
Oh my God.
$40,000 is what most people make in a year. I'm not poor, but I can't imagine spending that much money on anything other than a car, house, or medical bills.
And that's just to get the horse from Europe. That's not about all of the other, like, famously expensive things that go along with horses.
Yeah.
Taking care of horses.
You gotta stable the horse. You gotta take care of the horse. You gotta feed the horse.
Yeah, clean
You gotta
it.
make sure the horse is mentally okay, which
Yeah.
I guess you're on top of since you're the emotional
She's got
support
it.
human.
Right.
Um,
Oh my gosh. Yikes. And then even like getting a saddle and then all the things to take care of the saddle too is expensive in itself. My goodness.
Then, my brother-in-law starts telling me about how he wanted to take the kids somewhere while she's in Europe, but she basically said no. He had also suggested turning this into a family trip where they could all go, and she could pick out the horse and then explore a bit, and she nixed that too, saying she didn't want to have to worry about the kids while traveling. It would complicate the trip, and the kids might spook the horses. So, he suggested meeting there once she picked out a horse, and they could stay longer, which she declined that too, saying she would have to miss work. My brother-in-law was clearly frustrated and upset. I said maybe therapy would help, but he said they're already in therapy. There was a family get-together today, and my sister was excitedly telling us about her upcoming trip and the horses she's planning to look at. My mom asked her how her husband felt about all this, and my sister said, I've decided to stop taking his feelings into account. These people really just walk around among us, don't they? These people we walk by people like this on the street,
Oh yeah.
at the market,
Oh yeah. These people are everywhere.
at the movie theater.
Oh yeah. It's rare to not run into people like this.
I've decided to stop taking his feelings into account. Maybe he should stop taking your feelings into account too. Well, he can't do that. He can't, because I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that if he did that. This woman needs to take a big step back and look
Yeah.
at herself in the mirror.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So after she said that, my mom pointed out that probably isn't a good attitude to have towards your husband,
Yeah.
especially when he pays for everything she wants. My sister said this was something she needed because she's so overwhelmed and stressed these days. My mom did not react well to this. She raised her voice at my sister and told her, I have no idea what you have to be stressed about. Your husband pays for a housekeeper and a nanny, and you don't have to worry about money. Your work isn't mentally or physically taxing. Your husband's an active father who pulls his weight, and all I ever hear from you is complaints about how hard your life is. My sister got pissed, and they were both yelling over each other. Thank God the kids were playing with their dad outside, because my sister started saying how she regrets having children and that they've ruined her life.
Oh my god. Yikes.
I was shocked because her kids are smart, funny, well-behaved, mostly self-sufficient, and overall just great kids. I also don't understand why she would oppose her husband traveling with just the kids if she regretted them. Wouldn't that give her time away from them? The whole thing ended when my sister told my mom she's a self-absorbed person and that it's her fault she's like this, and that my mom hates seeing her happy. My mom told my sister to get out of the house and off her property immediately. On her way out, my sister said to me, you should have defended me, but you just stood there. You're just as bad as mom. I don't want to get involved in any of this drama, but I'm not sure if I should give her husband a heads up about what she said about the kids. They're in therapy together, so I assume this must be a topic they've discussed. It's all so strange. My sister isn't normally like this. Update 2. Before we get into that, doctor, brain scan.
Honestly.
Tumor? Is it a tumor?
Honestly. Because some's like, I don't know. She's so loud about all of her problems right now. And I mean, the mom has said that that's kind of all she does is complain about them. But like, I feel like if she was like this her whole life, then like, I feel like she wouldn't get married to her husband, you know? I feel
don't
like he
know.
wouldn't marry her.
Exactly. I think maybe make sure there's not something pressing on the frontal lobe.
Yeah.
And if there's not, therapy doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's an update. I wasn't expecting to make an update less than a day later. My plan was to take a day or two to think about what exactly to say to my brother-in-law. It turns out I didn't need to do anything because my mom beat me to it. It may have gotten buried in the comments, but our parents split due to our dad's infidelity. After the fight yesterday, my mom also suspected my sister was having an affair. She called my brother-in-law this morning and told him what my sister said and shared her suspicions. My brother-in-law called me to confirm what my mom said was true. When I told him it was, he asked if I could take the kids for the day so he could talk to my sister. I don't know the details of what happened between them, but when I brought my nephews back, my sister's car was gone. My brother-in-law and I talked outside for a bit. I asked how he was doing. He said, pretty bad. I found out my wife hates us.
Oof.
He doesn't know for sure if there was a physical affair, but there were flirty messages with the family friend on her phone and texts describing a deep hatred for her life. He said when he tried to talk to her about it, she just completely shut down and left. He's heartbroken. I think divorce is inevitable, and I know my brother-in-law is going to fight like the devil for his kids. They're his world. And I don't know where my sister is. She didn't tell him where she was going and hasn't reached out. I'm assuming she is with the family friend, and I hope she's safe. A few people asked why my brother-in-law didn't suspect an affair. The family friend is a woman, and my sister has never really been LGBTQ plus friendly, so it's quite unexpected. I'm deeply saddened by this outcome. It's hard to put my feelings into words. There's a large age gap between my sister and me. She started dating her husband when I was 3, so practically my whole life I've known them as a unit and thought they were rock solid. I'm wondering what holidays will be like now. So much is going to shift. My mother is furious that my sister would take this path knowing what infidelity does. She's irrevocably damaged her relationship with my sister, and I don't know if they'll ever speak again. I feel guilty about not speaking up before my mom did. Maybe she could still have a relationship with her only daughter if I had been the one to say something. I'm absolutely devastated for my nephews. I'm sure they're confused. I remember the feeling of abandonment and fury after my dad left and know how much that has impacted my life and relationships. I hate that they have to experience it too. My heart is just incredibly heavy. The whole situation has made me reflect on how quickly things can unravel. My sister seemed to have everything: a loving husband and beautiful children, financial security, and the freedom to pursue her interests. Yet she was deeply unhappy and apparently having an emotional affair with someone I would have never expected. I keep thinking about the signs that were there. Her refusal to let her family travel without her wasn't about wanting to be included. It was about control. Her sudden obsession with horses and willingness to spend $40,000 on something she had never shown interest in was alarming. Her statement about not taking her husband's feelings into account was a massive red flag that I should have addressed more seriously. What bothers me most is how her children have become collateral damage in whatever crisis she's going through. These kids did nothing wrong, and yet they're the ones who will suffer the most from her choices. My brother-in-law is a good father, but no matter how hard he tries, he can't shield them from the trauma of their mother abandoning them. I'm also struggling with my role in all of this. Should I have confronted my sister more directly when she first made those concerning comments? Should I have talked to my brother-in-law sooner about what I was observing? I keep second-guessing every conversation, wondering if there was something I could have said or done differently. The family dynamics have shifted completely. My mom, who was already dealing with the trauma of my father's infidelity, now has to watch her daughter repeat the same destructive pattern. The parallels are too painful to ignore. It's like watching history repeat itself in the worst possible way. And by the way, in the best possible way. There are full episodes with stories like this for you to listen to whenever your heart desires, as long as you're connected to the internet on your favorite podcast platform. Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime, and you can have the whole archive ready to stream into your ear holes. There's a little bit more story left. I feel like OP was assigned the fixer position in the family.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
I wonder if there are any other siblings besides the older sister. Because it's clearly OP feels this kind of, I don't understand where the responsibility is coming from. Like,
Yeah.
if you confronted your sister at that event, like, it wouldn't have changed anything.
Right.
There was no change, like, nothing you could have said to your sister would have changed the way she was thinking or feeling.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, maybe if the parents didn't always have a good relationship, like if the sister always kind of had that idea that the mom was a self-absorbed person, like maybe they just had a bad relationship growing up, and little OP, so much younger than all of that, not understanding exactly what was going on. Maybe he was trying to, or maybe he felt like he could fix things at that point, and maybe that's how that developed or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause he's just trying to make it all stop, and maybe people would stop fighting around him since he was so much smaller, but that's my guess for how he
Yeah.
could become the fixer. But
It could be.
yeah.
Let's finish this story. I'm trying to be there for my brother-in-law and nephews while also processing my own grief over losing the sister I thought I knew. The woman who left yesterday isn't the sister who helped raise me or who I thought would be in my life forever. It's like she's been replaced by someone I don't recognize. Moving forward, I'm committed to being present for my nephews and supporting my brother-in-law through what's undoubtedly going to be a difficult divorce and custody battle. These kids need stability and love, and I want to make sure they know they have family who will always be there for them, even when their mother isn't. And I don't know if there's any testimony in divorce proceedings, but if you could be a character witness being like, I was there at the dinner when she said, like, I don't care for my kids, they ruined my life.
Yeah.
I have nothing but that disdain for them.
Right.
Like,
My husband extended his trip and left me scrambling with 3 kids.
Sounds like you can handle it though.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I feel like I'm losing my mind from the way my husband just reacted to me. My female 38 husband, male 42 of 20 years, is obsessed with hunting. He picked up the hobby about 8 to 9 years ago. Every fall, I can count on him being out hunting pretty much any time he can. It was hard for me to adjust to this at first because I'm very anti-pew-pews, and because we have 3 kids with busy lives, ages 9, 11, and 14. By the way, this comes from Inside Classic 9779, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, but I've accepted that this is important to him, and I work hard to pick up the extra slack on weekends when he's busy doing his thing. About 4 years ago, he started going out west to hunt in the fall. He's going out west. And staying anywhere from 1 week to 2 months depending on his work flexibility, immediate no.
Dude,
You have 3 kids?
Yeah.
No.
I get maybe 2 to 3 weeks
Even then, 2 to 3 weeks leaving young kids.
behind. Yeah, no, that's
No.
2 months.
What's he
to go
hunting for that long?
What is he hunting?
It-
Bigfoot?
He better. All right.
Better be. Better catch him.
Here's my thing. If you're out there hunting for that long, you better bring back a year worth of supply of meat.
Absolutely.
So we don't have to worry about going
I better
shopping
see
anymore.
$10, 2 buffalo,
Yeah.
one T-Rex.
Even when, people were hunting for food, like, when that was like a necessity for just everyone,
Yeah.
people weren't going for 2 months.
It's
That was like maybe a week.
Yeah, it's a leisure thing.
Were you there?
Yeah.
It's a leisure thing.
You're right.
The way my family does it is we have land where we live, and we go like, we do it like from 6, it goes like 5 a.m. to like noon on Saturdays. And then whatever we,
Yeah.
get, we bring it back and we have it for the year.
My family does that. I think they do it for like maybe the Friday to Sunday if they really do a long weekend, but they tell their families in advance, like very far in advance.
I just
like,
can't
going
imagine any
hunting.
more than a week.
This is like vacation time, I did.
This year, he's scheduled to go 1 week in September and another week in November. No big deal. I handled the kids solo most of the time anyway, clearly. And there were no major things planned that he would miss. This summer, my 11-year-old started having anxiety about being away from home overnight. She actually had 2 panic attacks on different occasions, and I'm working with her and her doctor on coping mechanisms. I had that. I couldn't have sleepovers when I was 12 because I got
Really?
too anxious, and then my mom had to pick me up at 1 in the morning. And that happened for a whole year.
Dang.
And then one day I just got over it. It's been difficult and really overwhelming as a mom. My husband really hasn't engaged in it at all. She has a 2-night class trip coming up just a few days after my husband was scheduled to get back from his trip in September. In the past, this would not have been a problem, but given her recent difficulties, I talked to my husband and I volunteered to be a chaperone on the trip so that she wouldn't have to worry. My husband knew about it all and we agreed it would be best. Fast forward to tonight, a week after he and I talked about it, I was confirming with him that he would get off work in time to pick our youngest up from school while I'm away, when he looks at me and says, I'm staying for 2 weeks, right? I requested another week off leave and it got approved.
Oh, man.
I think my mouth actually dropped open. I pulled up our shared calendar and it was showing the old dates. I told him he never told me, and I think I sounded a little panicked. He aggressively responded with, "Well, you never talked to me, so when would I tell you? I have to stay longer to make it worth going all the way out there."
Oh, boy. Mm-mm.
When is she supposed to talk to you? You're gone all the time to hunt.
Yeah, and you're probably gone all the time to work.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really think you guys got a marriage here.
I don't. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's a parent. How much does he actually parent your kids?
Yeah.
Seems like you were kind of a solo parent.
And how much time you guys like spending together alone, quality time?
Like it seems like whenever he can get time off, he spends it alone, not with you.
The deer.
I instantly switched into problem-solving mode, staring at the calendar and trying to figure it out. He kept saying, "What? What now?" I started to talk about how I'll have to find someone for our other 2 kids to stay with, but it will have to be 2 different families because they're in 2 different schools. While I'm stressing about the logistics, he responds like it's settled. "Yeah, just ask a random family we know." Then he walks out of the room.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if this is
Problem solved.
gonna continue. I followed, still thinking. I must have looked worried. Maybe that's what prompted him to say, "What did I do now? You're always mad at me." I honestly didn't even shoo him out. I wanted to be mad, but I know better than to lose my temper when he pulls stuff like this anymore. So he was reacting to just my stress over trying to solve the problem. By the way, you could solve our problem by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. So there is a little left to the story. You're one of our own. This is not okay for him to be doing. This is unacceptable behavior. It seems like he is not pulling his weight as a parent nor as a partner. If you agreed on something that he should follow through, not expect you to know that he changed the plans on you. I think you have to have a very serious conversation with him. You can't do this without letting me know because we're co-parenting. We're partners.
And I think we can kind of see the state of this relationship when he asks his work for another week off and not coming to you first and game planning Hey, what if I got
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's talking to you at all. Not talking to you about the kids. Doesn't seem to care about the kids or what happens to them. Just expects you to figure it out. I feel like I'm crazy. How am I the bad guy in this story? You're not. I'm tucking the kids into bed now, and I don't even want to go to my bed tonight because I'll have to rehash this again when I see him, I'm sure. It's one thing to be so insensitive that you schedule being away from home for an extra week when you're supposed to watch your kids without telling anyone, but it's even worse when you add in guilt tripping your partner over it somehow. And that is the end of that story, folks. But yeah, yikes.
Goodness gracious. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good freaking luck with that. I think it's time for a bigger conversation.
Yes. Big conversation. Big change, or this is not going to work.
If I found myself in this situation and I was taking care of the kids and my wife was out going to fashion extravaganzas all the time, like, babe, we gotta be us.
Yeah.
We gotta rekindle what we have here. Because if we don't,
It's not going to work.
I don't think this is a relationship.
We gotta rewire this relationship because it ain't working like this.
Boom. Just like that.
That's the end of that story. And
My husband has a crush while I'm 8 months pregnant.
Better be a big old crush on you.
I'm grappling with a really unexpected issue in my relationship, which I thought was rock solid. I, 33 female, have been with my husband, 34 male, since I was 19 years old. The only relationship we've both been in, and I'm currently 34 weeks pregnant. By the way, this comes from user Opening Variety 9121. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. As OP says, there have been small changes in our relationship over the last couple of years, but nothing that ever worried me significantly. We've been trying to get pregnant for 2 years, and I've been very focused on my fertility journey. Most weeknight evenings turned into the two of us engaging in our separate interests, with him usually outside in the living room watching sports, and me in the bedroom reading or browsing YouTube or chatting to my girlfriends. I still thought we had a loving relationship full of trust, and my distance was perfectly normal. My husband has been enrolled in a fairly prestigious, part-time, postgraduate program for the last 4 years, which he recently completed. The majority was done online without much interaction with other students. This changed a couple months ago when he started attending networking events and applied to an international exchange program where he could finish his degree over a week of seminars and lectures abroad. He went to 2 networking events prior to the exchange a month ago. I remember him mentioning that he really liked the people he met and that they were very accomplished, intelligent, fun to be around, and future leaders in their fields. Around this time, I started noticing changes in him that seemed to come out of the blue. He became very appearance focused, which he has never been before. He started working out more than usual and put in extra effort getting ready for these networking events, significantly more than he put in for our baby shower or events with our mutual friends. This is a man who doesn't care about having fully ironed clothes and wears the same 3 outfits everywhere. I didn't doubt him or think anything was going on, instead attributing it to us getting into our mid-30s and him wanting to maintain a bit of youth. For context, I've always maintained my appearance and am considered by many to be attractive. I've received romantic or spicily related interests from others a few times over our relationship and have always been completely transparent about shutting it down and cutting these people out. Friends have joked about him punching above his weight with me, which I've never felt to be true because I thought we had a deep soulmate connection. Another change I noticed was him disconnecting from me and our pregnancy. Initially, he wanted to attend most appointments, but in the last couple of months, he demonstrated reluctance, saying things like, "Is it really that important that I'm at this one? I mean, it's only your baby, right?
Your baby, dude. This is like
It's-
part you.
It's only the baby you've been trying to have for a couple of years. Maybe go to the appointments."
Do you want to eventually there are going to be appointments to see your baby. That's so cool.
OP continues, "He's not interested in feeling baby movements, even when my belly is visibly moving. I've been the primary person buying all the baby gear, organizing our registry, and researching everything we need to know. And he's been very uninvolved, even after I've asked him to participate more. He doesn't express any physical affection unless he wants his needs met. Affectionate moments have all been initiated by me, and at times, he seems reluctant even when I directly ask for it. We've probably kissed twice in the last 2 months, both initiated by me. I've also been dealing with gestational diabetes during the last third of my pregnancy due to my ethnic background and family history. It's been tough because of the daily blood pricks and extra appointments, along with general third trimester exhaustion and anxiety. I feel lucky to have a supportive, immediate family who rallied behind me because my husband has grown even more disconnected and never tried to help through emotional support or even offering to make a gestational diabetes-friendly meal. It made me feel really distant from him even before this exchange trip. The week he was gone, I had pregnancy appointments almost every day. The first couple of days, he didn't check in beyond sending a goodnight text. I was sending little updates of my day, appointments, and cute 3D photos from the baby's scan, and he was pretty unresponsive. I chalked this up to him being busy with his studies, even though I knew his itinerary and there was plenty of time in the evenings and mornings where he could have sent more than a perfunctory text.
Why? Be excited about your baby. Have a crush on your wife.
Just so frustrating. I don't know how you get in front of this, you know? It's like, clearly, maybe there's just been such a lack of open communication from either,
Right. So
you know,
I'm
from
like,
his
maybe
end.
start that now. Like it's never too late to start the communication, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's out there trying to, you know, hook up with somebody or impress some other woman, it's like, yeah, we're putting our energy in such the wrong place, my guy. What are we
Completely
doing?
wrong.
I was happy he was connecting with the other 30 students from his program, but I started to feel a weird, sick feeling in my gut. A few days into the trip, we had a brief 4-minute conversation where I expressed that I would love to know more about his trip and the country he was visiting. I got teary on the phone. I didn't want much, just a little update on his day and some care in response to my updates. And he didn't call or FaceTime the rest of his trip. The perfunctory text continued, mixed in with a couple of lines here and there about his day. After this study week, he had plans to visit family in a neighboring country for a few days. At this point, I was feeling anxious and upset at his lack of communication, so I pulled back and tried to distract myself by spending quality time with my friends, parents, and my husband's parents. He started calling me more when he left the study trip, and on the last day before he flew home, we had an argument where I cried and he reassured me that he was just really busy trying to hustle and network on the trip. I asked him a few more times if he met anyone he found attractive because I was having a weird, sick, sinking feeling all week. He was adamant in saying no and that he spent most of his evenings with the boys. After he got home, we resumed our normal life. He attended a networking event post-trip last Monday and told me he has 2 more this week. The events with this same group were getting more and more frequent and I was starting to get concerned. Look, if you're just spending time with the boys on this trip, you could have found time to FaceTime your wife for 10 minutes. It's just the boys.
Just the boys, right? She probably knows the boys. Put them on.
Are you
They'll
networking?
say hi.
Or are you with the boys? You got to pick one. He went out with a different group of guy friends this last Friday and got home at 1:30 in the morning. And I know he wasn't with his overseas group, but it felt like he'd been going out constantly in this last phase of my pregnancy, and it made me feel upset and insecure. When he got home, we had a fight about how often he was going out and getting wasted. He seemed pretty unapologetic and fell asleep. I went and checked his phone. I felt a compulsion to check back the time of his trip to see if he'd been messaging anyone else when his communication with me had fallen through. He had been exchanging a series of long messages with a girl in the first few days post his trip while he was with his family. She had reached out first saying that she was sorry they didn't have a proper goodbye on the last day and that she had a great time bantering with him all trip. He responded with pretty long messages updating her on what he'd been up to since the trip, asking her about her trip, and even sent her a photo of him at a restaurant they'd talked about.
Did those long messages say, "Now I'm back with my pregnant wife"?
They certainly did not. OP continues, I felt my heart break in that moment. There was no indication of any overt flirting, but he was giving her everything that I had wanted from him. They kept exchanging messages until the end of the trip, but there were no other messages in the chat after he came home. I woke him up and confronted him about her.
Good.
He was very defensive, saying there was nothing wrong with the content of the messages. Technically, he was right. It was long banter back and forth, but it wasn't spicy or romantic. I just know him and know that he doesn't message people like that, even his friends. Yeah, it's like the whole time you were ignoring me. What do you mean there's nothing wrong with these messages?
Right. It's the fact that you were messaging a different person over me when I was begging for your attention.
Yeah, to the point of tears.
Right.
You know? Yeah, and it just so happens to be some girl
That I haven't really heard about, didn't really know that you even hung out with on this trip.
He messaged me like that the first few years of our relationship.
No.
He eventually admitted that there was an attraction there on his part and a crush, but it wasn't physical. I immediately started sobbing. I asked him what he liked about her, and he said that she was kind, nice, very funny, easygoing, with great banter. She was also attractive, but said that it wasn't physical because she's not his usual type at all. He just felt drawn to her on the trip and got excited anytime he could find an opportunity to spend time with her or have a conversation with her. There's no way this guy's trying to like downplay it and gaslight being like flirty and having a crush on somebody else and actively choosing to spend your time and energy on that person instead of you, his pregnant wife. It's a huge deal. He revealed all of this very reluctantly while I was questioning him. He also has an avoidant communication style, so getting all of this from him took hours of conversation. She's also 27 years old, 7 years younger than him, which really hit me hard. He told me that he thought it was mutual because she was also initiating a lot of their interactions, and she never brought me up in their conversations and questions about life.
Does she know about you?
I don't even know. He probably wouldn't tell her. He seemed almost giddy and excited when talking about this. Post-confession, I felt such a huge amount of emotional upheaval that he feels is not proportional to his actions. I feel like my whole picture of our relationship, love, and fidelity has shattered. He admitted he lied repeatedly when I asked if there was anyone he was attracted to, and he made a conscious decision to never mention her when talking about everyone in his cohort. I feel like I've lost all love, respect, and trust for him, even though there hasn't been any confession of feelings or attraction between the two of them. This is because I had to discover this conversation when snooping through his phone, and because of how much he's investing in this new group of friends post-trip. He admitted that after the trip, at the networking event, he was most excited to see her out of everyone. He never said a word until I basically cross-examined him over the last few days. I told him that he's watering this crush by continually hanging out, even in a group setting, and this is how he responded. Quote, "I'm not making plans to hang out. There are group get-togethers that I'm going to. I'm not hanging out with her one-on-one. I want to keep hanging out with this group of friends." He continued to say this for a couple days. I expressed to him yesterday that I've lost trust, love, and respect in him, and I can't really see myself staying with him if he's going to continue down this path. He then changed his tune and said that if that was the case, he'd stop going to these events. I think he thought it would make me feel better, but it didn't. I felt like me having to force the issue along with the last couple of months of distance between us and his lack of communication or concern for me just made me feel angry, upset, and resentful. He has since apologized to me, but I feel that he was on the precipice of a full-blown emotional affair, and the way he's treated me isn't sitting right. I've been constantly crying over the last few days, and have had 8 hours of sleep over the last 3 nights. I feel our relationship is forever tainted, and I feel nothing for him except a complete lack of respect, which is totally fair. By the way, it would be fair if you listened to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime. We have a little bit more story left, but my God, this guy's just trying to completely blow over what really does feel like at this point a full-blown emotional affair. He was giving all of the attention.
He was already at that point,
Yeah, all of the attention that should have been directed to you and all of the emotional energy that should have been directed to you was just being funneled directly into this other girl he has a crush on.
He is completely not caring for you and taking care of you in a way that, especially when you're 8 months pregnant, he should be. Like, he should be there for you. You shouldn't be extra stressed in this time.
Yeah, his reaction should be like being on his knees, like I'm so wrong for having done this. I can't believe that I've made such a mistake. Like, the fact that he's not at all like really remorseful and he's just being like, I did this thing, but it shouldn't even be that big of a deal because, wow, he didn't really do anything. Like, look, I didn't send anything wrong in the messages. It's like,
no, he's gross and icky. I don't like him.
Yeah, let's finish this. I feel like I'm with a stranger. We've been together so long that we have so much mutual community. Our families are enmeshed. I have strong relationships with my in-laws and we have lots of mutual friends. I feel like he fears losing that and the repercussions of that more than he fears losing me. I don't want to continue on in this relationship despite our interconnected lives. The only thing keeping me from leaving is the love I have for my unborn baby and not wanting to create a broken home for him. Any advice on how to navigate all of this would be so appreciated. I feel like I'm experiencing emotional whiplash and going from feeling everything at once to feeling numb. That is the end of that story.
Wow.
I refuse to let my husband control my surgery decisions.
It's my decision.
I, 42 female, want to have a front airbag reduction surgery. I would not be asking my husband, 40 male, to spend any money on me, We both work, and we put aside equal amount of money for private accounts, for private savings, and spending. Please do not make it about money. By the way, this comes from SaltLeg72, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So put what you know in the comments down below. I've been talking about this surgery since I turned 40, but I've dreamed about it since I was 15. Whenever I spoke about it, he would sit silent and listen, supported me, I thought. Then he asked if I wanted him to go to my first consultation, and I was very happy. Consultations are usually private here, but he wanted to tag along for the first part of the consultation. When I talked to the doctor, who is an internationally respected doctor, my husband sat silent at first. Then he asked when the psychological evaluation would happen. The doctor was puzzled and explained that I am an adult. My husband got irritated and almost yelled, "So you would not mind operating on people with body dysmorphia?" The doctor
Dude.
and nurse were shocked, and I was livid.
This man is very attached to your boobs. That's a crazy take, dude. She probably is having a reduction because she has back problems.
Back
or
problems.
Like many other reasons.
Probably so.
That's ridiculous to be like, you can't do that. She's got body dysmorphia.
She's got body dysmorphia. Yeah, I don't think like when it comes to front airbag surgery, there's no mental check.
Well, I mean, just any sort of you should be telling the person like what goes into any sort of surgery or medical procedure. However, usually the doctor is like, okay, like what are the what are the reasons why you want this? And then
Yeah.
a person's like, well, I've been having a lot of back pain, and then they're like, okay, well then these are what we can do. This is what the reduction would help with. Blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
a doctor's already gone through all of this with her, and I'm sure if there was like red flags, they would have been like, okay, let's get you.
They don't just
Yeah.
give out reduction surgeries left and
No.
right. It's a whole
No.
process. I'll tell everyone why these stories affect me so much. When we got home, I was destroyed. I'm scared that I've lost my opportunity with the best surgeon in the country and probably one of the best in the world. My husband insisted I need therapy, that he will not allow me to have the surgery because I look perfect. I asked him what he meant not allowing me. I was very angry and crying. He said, well, I will do anything. Tell your family you are mentally unstable and I will leave you.
And at that point, your marriage is over, and you gotta, unless he wants to go to a lot of therapy himself and agrees to that, that is just completely unacceptable. To
Yeah.
threaten one to leave you, it's already like, okay, well then let's just do it.
Yeah.
And then to say that he's gonna tell your family that you're mentally unstable,
Yep.
bye.
My professional opinion as a woman doctor
Mhm.
is if you are with a significant other and they have fallen in love with you and your appearance, I could see the point of view where it could be very hard for
Yeah,
your partner to be like, no,
because he only
less.
cares about your appearance. That's what
He
it
only
feels
cares.
like.
I will say, if my partner came up to me and was like, hey, the junk in the trunk is too much, I need to reduce the junk, I would be upset. I would try and do everything in my power, respectfully, to not let that happen, because I'm like, the junk in the trunk is beautiful. I don't think there's anything that needs to be removed. I think
And then what if she says, it's gotta go because
Too much.
it hurts me.
it's too much.
Too much junk in the
It
trunk,
hurts
Riley.
me. It hurts my back. It
Ah,
hurts my
dude.
legs. I can't walk. I can't walk, Riley. Do you want me to stay in a wheelchair all my life? You'll never even see
No.
it.
It's just,
Yeah,
I'll
if
be
she's always
sitting down.
sitting, you're never gonna see the junk in the trunk.
Yeah.
I would have to go through the stages of grief.
Yeah. But you wouldn't say, you can't do that, and I'm going to tell your family that you're mentally unstable and leave you.
Agreed. Okay.
I think we
agreed.
know you love Angie more
Yeah.
than her junk in the trunk.
You
That is
love
true.
Angie
I would
more
cry,
than-
though. I would cry.
And that's okay.
I would cry. So I
By
think,
yourself in your room.
yeah, well, hopefully with her, and then I could talk to him and be like, guys,
You
I
have a
miss you.
ceremony.
She's
Yeah.
too busy worrying
Yeah.
about her junk in the
Yeah.
trunk.
Yeah, but this is, it's very worrisome. Okay, so thankfully I made a new appointment, and the doctor was too kind. I have my new appointment on Wednesday. My husband is livid and said he will never look or touch me again. Am I the a-hole for refusing to listen to my husband? No.
No.
Nope.
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 Bye.
This guy thinks that,
Divorce.
yeah, this guy thinks that there's only one gender in the whole population, and it's men because women are his property, it feels like.
Yeah. He's like, well, you have to do what I say, so I'm your husband.
Yeah.
Shut up, man. Get out of here.
That's weird. Carly, what do you think?
He only likes her front airbags.
Clearly.
That's all he sees the
Mm-hmm.
woman as.
Yeah.
Commenter 1, do you have any mental health issues? Opie says, yes, I have depression.
And he's probably not making it any better.
He's probably going to run with that now.
Yeah, he's like, well, you're sad.
Oh, but edit has nothing to do with the front airbags or parents. Does OP have physical health issues that are giving her issues? No, just cosmetic, no health issues. I don't like big front airbags. Commenter 2, not the a-hole. Firstly, I would bring it up to your family before he could. Whether it's mom or grandma or even your dad or your sibling, get their thoughts first on the situation with your husband. Second, I would suggest couples therapy. I wouldn't worry about individual therapy. You have been sure about this for years. Meet up with a doctor again without your husband to redo the consultation.
Yeah.
I would love to have a front airbag specialist on the podcast. And it would be interesting to ask them, like, how do people's partners, like, react to it?
Yeah.
You got to get one that makes him bigger and smaller. You can get both sides of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
But how do they react? I mean, yeah, I think it's like the same as you reacting to like Angie changing her hair color, you know?
I was thinking that, or
Or
whenever
like
she
shading
shaved
her
her.
eyebrows. It's like, whoa, it's a
getting
big
nose
it's not
piercings.
that like someone said in the chat, like, you know, it's not that you can't have a reaction to your partner making a big change. It's just that you can't be like, you're not allowed to do that because I said so. That's where that's crossing a line.
The commenter has a question. Has he ever acted like this to something before? Like a minor change you make to yourself or around you? He says, no, never. But then again, this is the first time I want to alter my body with surgery. I know he thinks Botox, etc. is gross, and he has expressed that clearly, but I have already told him that if I wanted to do it in the future, he can keep his opinion to himself. Of course, now I know his silence is just him biding his time, because he has been silent every time I talk about front airbag surgery until it was becoming real. Commenting 3, what if you needed a mastectomy? Would he be pissed off that you lost your front airbags? Is he silently implying that he only loves you for the size of your chest? And most people only go down to a C cup, which is still plenty. You were definitely not the a-hole. I think your husband is the one with the issues about your body. OP says, I asked him, and he said that it was a ridiculous comparison because one is life-saving and one is vanity. Well, yeah, he called me stupid making this ridiculous comparison. Comment 4, you might lose an extra couple 100 pounds in emotional baggage
Yes.
along with the front airbag tissue. And I could consider that to be a good thing. Men truly don't understand what it's like to have large front airbags. I think it was like Bethany a while ago. We were talking about, boobs being big.
Bethany?
Yeah, it was a commenter.
Oh.
I remember it because I made a funny comment.
You know, Bethany.
Yeah,
You
Bethany.
know Bethany.
She had to deal with that weight for a long time. And she said that what guys could do is wear sandbags.
Yeah. So that you feel like how the weight of it. And also like running, going downstairs.
Girls.
Are you going to have the guys?
But you can't do sandbags. If you're going to do it, you got to get like the drag queen. Yeah.
The fake ones.
Yeah.
The fake tatas.
Girls,
Uh-huh.
imagine a party where you're the man. The men that come to the party have to wear front airbags,
I love this.
and the women get to have
And
shoes.
you're all wearing maid outfits.
Wait, hold up. This isn't your fantasy. Okay.
It is now.
But the women get to wear.
Okay, fine. Only one of you is wearing maid outfits.
I think I know who gets to wear
We'll
it.
spin a wheel the morning of.
Ew. But the women get to wear like not stilts, but like things that like make them taller than the guys.
Yeah.
And the men have to know what it feels like to be the women.
Okay. I'm
Okay,
gonna be
so what I'm
6'2".
hearing is Halloween this year.
And
on the
we're all wearing Packers.
Yeah. What do we think?
I like it.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Okay. Why does OP's husband think his opinion of her body should outweigh her own opinion? OP says, he said, because plastic surgery is addictive. And since I have mental health problems, it must be, therefore, I want to change my body. And of course, he admitted that he thinks my body is beautiful and it shouldn't be altered and that they're not that big to begin with. Commenter 6 says, how big are they after all, OP?
Not really any of your beeswax, commenter.
I'm not asking to say your wish is not valid. I did the surgery myself. I just want to understand how much of an a-hole your husband is. And OP says 75 EF. Euro numbers 34
Okay.
DD. DDD is
Still
approximately
big.
Double D and triple D.
That is wild. So yesterday I was here complaining about my husband and my gut feelings were right. after seeing the reactions here. My husband is crossing a boundary by trying to control how my body looks. This morning, I told him this. He just sat silently and listened to me. Then he said that he wasn't trying to control me or coerce me. But at the same breath, he said he loved my body, and if I am not taking his opinion into consideration, then he knows that I don't care about his opinion. He said he would not look at me the same way or touch me, which I guess head out.
Yeah. Bye.
Huh.
That's it.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, we've made our decision. He's leaving.
I said that I don't want to be married to someone who doesn't want to touch me. Then he said that then we won't be married. He added, but remember, I love you, and you're breaking up with a man who loves you because of superficial changes you want to make to your body.
That's so funny. That's so funny for him to be like, yeah, you're being superficial. As if he's not being superficial.
He said he would stay for the recovery, then move out after Christmas. I said I was going ahead with my surgery, and he just shook his head. He cried later in the garden. You guys have a garden? I can't believe him. He sounds final. Like he's been thinking about divorce for a while. I've been waiting for the surgery for 2.5 years because of how busy this doctor is. My preliminary surgery is in November, and I have a consultation soon. I'm going ahead with my plans, and he can go ahead with his. According to him, I'm free to choose whatever I want to do with my body. He is free to leave when it doesn't suit him anymore.
This is true. And he can leave right now because I don't want to look at him anymore.
That's
Bye.
true. Many are asking about the surgery. It is a front airbag reduction. And no, I'm not doing it for medical reasons since I have no back problems or head pains. I am not that big to have these problems. It's purely cosmetic. This is the most important part of my issue with him. I know you mean well bringing up health benefits, but this is about my right to control how I look. He would 100% have supported me if it were for medical reasons because he has in the past. Looking to the future, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime, and listen to more crazy, ridiculous stories about husbands, wives, cousins, uncle, dads, whatever. We got them there. Go check it out. Now we have some comments. Carly, Sophia.
I mean, again, it doesn't really matter what the reason for your surgery is. It's your decision. It's your body. And if he doesn't, agree with it or he's not happy about it and his love is only, this deep, then then this marriage wasn't going to last in the first place.
Yeah.
What's he going to do when you are old and you no longer look like that? Or when you, let's say that there is a health thing or you have to get a mastectomy because of cancer, not that I'm, God forbid, but what if any of these things happened? Would he stay because of those? You say he's supported for other reasons, but when superficial things change, I don't know if he's gonna stick around.
Yeah, you're still gonna have boobs after the surgery.
Yeah.
Well, not with a mastectomy. But
No, she's not getting him.
Yeah.
Well, you mean in the hypothetical
In
case?
that, yeah.
Yeah. The second that she said, I've heard all the risks of this surgery and it's still something that I want just because I want it, that should have been the end of that conversation.
Exactly.
I mean, some people even will get mastectomies just if they have the gene for cancer. Are you going to be mad at her for not wanting to get cancer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not the reason for this one. But
there's so
again,
many different
just
reasons
I
that,
want to was enough.
Why people who are born with boobs get reductions or get rid of their boobs entirely, and it's really not anyone's decision. The only decision that he has any right to make is to leave her.
Especially, wasn't he saying that she had dysphoria, body dysphoria?
He was saying that, yeah.
Right. So then getting the surgery could fix that, and then maybe she wouldn't have that anymore.
I don't think that was his point.
Yeah. She doesn't have that. She confirmed that. I think
For
he was
sure.
just trying to find a loophole.
Yeah.
But it's funny that he's like, you can't do that. You have dysmorphia, and she's like, and that would help with it. If she did have it.
Yeah.
Goodness. Hope he clarifies the reason for the surgery. I have no medical reasons for the surgery. It's just for cosmetic reasons. I'm only saying this because for me, the reasons shouldn't matter. He would probably side with me if it was medical condition, but his issue is that it's just cosmetic. My issue is that I want to be able to decide how I look because he has read that the recovery could take time. Yes, I know about the scars. I'm thinking more about my appearance with clothes on, less unwanted attention at work. I'm very sensitive to being described as she with the jest of big front airbags and a grin. Dolly Parton, how do you think she went about life?
Happily.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
But also, Dolly Parton had breast
Enhancers.
She had enhancement.
You know what she did? You know what the most baller move Dolly
I love
Parton
Dolly
did.
Parton. What?
I heard this. I forgot who I heard this from. She would let the men look at her front airbags for like 2 minutes. She's like, all right, look at them. Because like right before a meeting, she's like, go
Yeah.
ahead. Just like sit. It's like, all right. And then get to the meeting. Because I think
She's a
she
cool
hated
person.
like people like,
Yeah.
I also heard that if she's not in her like full getup, you wouldn't recognize her on
Yeah,
the
she looks
street.
very different.
Which does make me wonder if maybe they could also be some fake, like fully removable ones,
I honestly, I mean, like, I think she's been pretty.
like the drag
yeah,
queen ones
yeah,
that
yeah.
Sophia was
Which is
talking
like
about.
she's pretty, into like
Oh.
the drag culture and stuff. But I do think she's been pretty
Yeah, no,
open
I'm
about
sure
it.
that- I'm sure that a good
Yeah.
amount of that is just her.
Yeah.
it's pretty dolled up.
Dolly.
I have talked about the scars with my doctor, and they have come a long way with minimizing the look. I have after my C-section that looks fine. Commenter 1, I mean, yeah, he is 100% free to leave, like you're free to do your surgery. That's just how life is. Commenter 3, oh, he's definitely going to spin it that she's the reason for divorce and how horrible she is. He just can't love her if her front airbags are smaller. God forbid she ever gets front airbag cancer because in his eyes, that would be scarring her body for nothing. Opie says he made it clear that I will be the reason because he said, I hope you can live with yourself. Is OP in therapy? I am in therapy since childhood. My husband does not want couples counseling. He wants a psych evaluation. Anyway, he is getting his wishes since I got an email from the nurse about booking an appointment for evaluation before surgery.
Ugh,
I agree. He always wins.
that sucks.
That's crazy.
Why don't they listen to him? You should just be like, go back in and be like, hey, I'm breaking up with this guy. I
not
just want to
going
get
well.
my surgery, please.
Do you think they're doing that just because, I don't know, it's like a sniff of a possibility?
Yeah, probably.
Just
They
to
don't,
save their
they don't
backs.
want. Yeah, but I mean, like, it shouldn't be too hard. Hopefully, it's just one thing.
Opie responds to a downvoted comment about having the surgery for vanity, but not health reasons. My reasons might be silly to you, but I'm tired of wearing loose clothes all the time. Here's a small example of something that happens more than I care for. We wear uniforms at work. Our clients are 99% men. Even if the shirt is modest, many of the men won't even realize that they're taking alternate looks at the chest area and actually the face while they're talking. My office has a glass wall and near the reception desk. One time I heard one client talk to the guys at the reception about having an appointment and he wasn't sure of my name. So with a grin, said, you know, she's with blank, blank, blank. Then he made a big front airbag gesture and both he and the receptionist laughed and did the gesture again. Hush. I know this is a problem not exclusively to me. I know it is a problem every woman has faced, but it doesn't mean that because it happens to everyone that I can't find it seriously hurtful.
Yeah.
That's the end of that story.
Yeah.
Yikes, dude.
Don't need to do that. That sucks.
Dude, I just wish men were more respectful towards you.
Yeah.
And
But I'm glad that you're divorcing this guy.
you're
Woo.
making one change at a time. Getting rid of
Mhm.
all the yucky men out there. Golly, I cannot imagine sitting in a professional setting.
Yeah, yeah, and doing that. Come on.
Dude, that's crazy. Ugh.
My wife left me after she realized she's into girls.
Well, what else is she gonna do?
I, 41 male, met my wife online about 10 years ago. We hit it off immediately with lots of chemistry, and we had a string of coincidental overlaps in our lives. Things moved along quickly. By the way, this comes from Castmaster, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia,
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I moved out of my place into hers about half a year later, and then she moved into mine a year after that. 3 years into the relationship, I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. That was 7 years ago. We bought a house, moved to the suburbs, and tried to start a family, but had no luck. We chalked it up to age, but have continued to try for about 3 years now. Our relationship had some bumps. Her dad is super handy, and I am not. And she felt I neglected my duties around the house with cleaning and fixing things up. She was mostly right. I am not proactive about chores, and she has been vocal about me needing to pull my weight and be more romantic. I am very cerebral and analytic, and mostly lacking in the pathos department. Our spicy sleep life started to atrophy about the time we started trying to conceive. An act of joy and love suddenly became more of an obligation in my mind, and we both got maybe a little too comfortable in the relationship. We started to gain weight, fart in front of each other. No! and all the normal things you learn to live with in a long-term relationship.
Have you not farted in front of your boyfriend yet?
Me?
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
I always try not to, but I'm trying to get her to tolerate it. You're gonna have to.
It's
That's a
it's a-
personal question, Keon.
Is it really?
I can't tell you this information.
I'm very open about it. I have farted.
Dude, this guy farts.
He
I
farts,
fart.
man. He's a farter.
I fart.
But I was still very attracted to her, and she said she was to me as well. However, she was looking for flowers, candles, and loving whispers, and I wasn't offering her those things. So we were both aware of the problems we were facing even before this most recent bump. Last night, she told me that on a recent trip, she met a woman.
I say that the best couple's way to fart in front of each other is you play Guess My Fart,
Yeah.
and
He
you
goes,
got and one person guesses how it's gonna sound. So you go like,
You've never
or
done
you
that?
go like,
I've done that. Carly's guessed it correctly. I've guessed hers correctly. It's hilarious.
Last night, she told me that on a recent trip, she met a woman and they hung out for quite a while. This woman tried to kiss her and she resisted the advance. But she told me that she had strong feelings for this woman and wanted to kiss her and is now questioning her identity and may have always been a sapphic and is only now realizing it. Obviously, that was a lot to process after 10 years together. I do still love her, and I am very grateful that she felt comfortable enough to be honest with me about it. I told her that I was 100% supportive of whatever she's feeling, and that her happiness is my main concern. That is true. I would never want to deny someone being who they feel they are, and I understand that identity is complex and can change even after 10 or more years. I'm not looking to deny her of her true feelings. Shortly after, I asked if she had any contact with this woman since that night, and she said she had. They had texted and talked on the phone. I asked if she would be comfortable with me reading these texts, and she said she had deleted them. Hearing that, I told her that I was not comfortable with her staying in contact with this person. My feeling is that I fully support her identity in whatever form, but that our marriage is an agreement of loyalty and trust, and I felt this breached that bond. If she indeed needs time to work out her identity, then I will be there for her, but I think we should work it out together and not with an interloper involved. Her talking to this other person felt like a betrayal, but I'm curious to see what a counselor was saying. We're going to a relationship counselor as soon as she gets back from her most recent work trip. We've been talking constantly, though I feel mostly hurt, and so I do not have much to offer until she figures this out. Thanks for listening. I needed to get this off my chest, and until we meet the counselor, I do not want to involve friends, family, or coworkers. Yes, we work together too. Comment 1 says, you're being very sweet and understanding, but this isn't just a story about your wife discovering who she is. This is a story about a man potentially losing his partner of 10 years. For someone who identified as cerebral and unemotional, you're exhibiting a staggering amount of empathy here. Be careful that it's not at the expense of your own happiness. If your wife was texting another dude, how would you feel? She doesn't get a pass just because it's a woman. Be confident in your own boundaries here. OP says, I think you're missing the point, which is that I am drawing a boundary. Identity can be explored within the context of a relationship. My line gets drawn when a private relationship is forming on the side. Now, I concede that the pathway is rather narrow for this since there's only one woman in our relationship, which is why it's either explore identity with me or completely without me. Reply says, this is a healthy attitude. It's important to keep sight of the fact that identity does not justify cheating. If your wife no longer wants to be with you, OP, the person, then she needs to leave. There cannot be any exploring identity if that means spicy sleep with other people when you're still within a relationship. This is the sort of thing that counseling is great for, to help you and your wife both work out where you stand and where to go from here. Comment 2 says it could be a multitude of things. Maybe she's sapphic, maybe she's bi, maybe neither, maybe any of the above, and the added mystery and excitement to a new relationship, or simply feeling wanted by another made her tempted. It sounds like she might be bored with her relationship with you, and here is this woman who she is building up, who might give her the candles, flowers, and whispering sweet nothings, and put effort into the relationship. And there's a bunch more comments, but do you have any thoughts? Let's take a pause there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you guys don't find a way through counseling, I don't know. I just think it's someone realizing, like, I like women.
Yeah.
And you're not one.
And you're not a woman.
You are not women.
And I think that OP's got the right attitude. It's like either, we explore this together, or you realize that you're not attracted to me and you don't want to be in a relationship with me and you want to explore something else.
Yeah.
In which case we end this relationship. And that's it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you can be as supportive as you can, but
Yeah, it still
being
has to be
fully
respectful to
supportive
yourself.
might mean the relationship is over.
Yeah. OP says, I think this is accurate and reinforces what I think may be happening. She's very attractive and a lot of men approach her, but perhaps the masculinity is toxic to her. A woman who understands a woman will have a different approach, and so she may be responding to it when normally she is shut off or defensive. She comes from a strict household too, though, so perhaps this has been buried the entire time and only now manifesting. That's where the therapy comes in, I think. Update. Let's get into it. The day she left for her work trip, I felt the first waves of paranoia and jealousy. When we talked that night, I asked her to make sure she understood how important it was for the sake of our marriage and my well-being to not break her promise to not communicate with this other person. I asked for us to get through counseling before she resumed contact. She said she knew and that she would not. I really think she's going to do it anyway.
Really feels like she's going to do it
Feeling
anyway.
she's gonna do it anyway. 2 days later, she returned and was home when I got back from work. After we ate dinner, we started to discuss our future. Soon into that conversation, several truths were revealed. The contact between them had been nearly constant since the Vegas encounter.
Yikes.
There was more than a feeling. There was making out and kissing.
Double yikes.
The contact was still happening. The last truth was the thing that will now lead to our divorce. The infidelity is bad, maybe unforgivable in and of itself, but the violation of trust and the manner in which my wife of 7 years has disregarded my feelings is the most painful part. She's been saying I didn't have a choice, and in terms of her spicy proclivity, that may be true. But the choice to act on those feelings was hers. She was not interested in an open relationship or a threesome. I asked more out of curiosity than anything. I also did not want those arrangements. In learning more information about the relationship, I found out that there is a large age difference. The woman is 28. There is already talk about living together, having kids, IVF, and even whether I would donate for the F.
What's the joke
For the
about
IVF.
lesbians going fast?
Yeah, wow.
Yo.
Hey. To even bring up that asking you to donate for IVF is insane. Like they're cheating on you.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
The thing I was not prepared for was when 15 minutes later, she was on her phone booking a one-way flight out of town to go see the person the next day. I am still in a bit of shock over how cold and insensitive that was. But I'm in a bit of shock about how easy it is to listen to full episodes of stories just like this if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Poke Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Don't give her your baby juice, and I'll see you at the gym.
Yeah, we're divorcing. You want to be with this woman. I gave you my boundaries. You just knocked over all of them. And there it is. And that's that. And it sucks. The next morning, she left to be with this woman. It's been several days since she's been gone. We've talked, though, mostly about what is happening with regards to our marriage and general plans about selling our house. For a few days, she refused to seek counseling, but last night she promised to move forward with it. It's hard to trust that it will happen when so many promises have been broken lately. My wife is a sapphic. I'm fine with that. It hurts to lose her and to be abandoned by the person you thought you would spend the rest of your life with. On the other hand, I care for her deeply, and I want her to live the life she thinks she wants and deserves. I am a straight man, and I cannot be married to a sapphic, so I see no hope for our relationship to succeed. Except as friends. The problem is I only want friends that are loyal, and that is a bar. And true, don't be friends with someone that cheated on you. You don't owe it to them.
Yeah, I don't know if staying friends is the right move here.
Not when she cheated on you.
You know?
No, thank you. But folks, that's the end of that story.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We freaking love you.
And see you tomorrow.